Good afternoon, or morning, or night, or wherever you are in the world, the wonderful wide world of Tottenham Hotspur. This is THFC Till I Die on what's called a Premier Saturday, but it's not really. There's only two Premier League games today. And we're keeping an eye on that and the Championship and the Scottish Cup, which is on today. And I'm on my own at the minute. I don't know where the lads are. They must have had a sleep in last night or something, but Brad and Dermot will no doubt be joining me shortly. And just before we get into the games which are about to start, let's see what the comments are here. Martin 958 is saying, "All hail the mighty Vale." Yeah, a pity you've lost Andy Devine. He's gone to Plymouth Argyle, which is a shame for Vale because he's done very well for you. Simon Cohen is saying, hiya Simon. Any news to update, please? I'm just having a look to see if there's anything. The noises are getting louder and louder, and it looks as if it could be a bit like the Destiny THGE deal, where we buy him and loan him back for the rest of the season. So if we do buy him, chances are we won't see him at the Tottenham Stadium until next summer. But here's hoping. The guy is supposed to be a really, really good player. And Daniela's eating, saying, "Come on, Orient. Come on, you Spurs." Hi, Daniela. How are you? I'm keeping an eye on the Orient game as well today. I think if they're playing. And Martin again is "Come on, you Port Vale." Okay. Come on, you PV. Yeah. And Carl saying, "Afternoon, gents. Come on, Plymouth." Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Andy Devine does now with Plymouth today. And Martin is now saying, "All hail the mighty Argyle." You're moving around a bit, Martin. The Port Vale a minute ago. Now it's Plymouth Argyle. Yeah. There you go. That's all the comments at the moment. As some of you probably know already, the Unmentionables down the road have just done a number on Crystal Palace this morning, beat them 5-0, which I think, as a reasonable guess, could be the end of Roy Hodgson at Palace, because they can't keep losing matches like that, especially the teams like Arsenal. So I would say, if I had to take a guess at it, I would say Steve Cooper, the ex-Nottingham Forest manager, will quickly be installed there once Roy gets his P45. And let's face it, it's probably the last club he will manage, because a great manager, but he's getting on a bit now. I think time to hang up the boots and go and relax and enjoy his retirement. Also, we'll see what happens there. And I think one other game I was watching at the end of the game in the Championship earlier there, with Swansea and Southampton. And I mean, Southampton have now gone 20 league matches unbeaten, which is a club record for them. But they were winning 3-1 at half time. But in the last 10 minutes, Swansea hit the post, the bar, and made Bazuma, the goalkeeper, made two unbelievable saves. So that game could have been 4-3 to Swansea in the space of about 5 minutes. It would not go into the net. It was just unfortunate for them. But anyway, good win for Southampton. And they're second in the league now to Leicester, I think. Anyway, let's go back to the chat. There's a few more people joining us. Martin 958, you get confused easily. Fair enough, Martin. I suppose they both begin with P, Plymouth and Port Vale, so maybe that's it. And Carl Simpson, Palace were dreadful, absolutely abysmal. I wouldn't watch it. It's against my religion to watch Arsenal matches, so sorry I didn't watch it. I watched it. I'd rather watch the schoolboys under 10 game than watch Arsenal, to be honest. And Daniel Lee is saying Graham Potter is favourite for the Palace job. Yeah, that's another. I think Potter could be looking for bigger fish than Palace now, to be honest with you. But we'll see. Steve Cooper has been mentioned. Potter was at the game today to watch Palace. Pity he didn't bring his brother Harry and his magic wand along with him. Could have done something for the Palace performance. And Martin 958, I believe in energies. Potter seemed to go rubbish after he appeared to try to force players to have their jabs. Okay. Fair enough. And just to run down the games that are on today. Now, again, the only other game in the Premiership is at 5:30. I think it's the return of Ivan Toney against Nottingham Forest, Brentford versus Nottingham Forest. And some wag put up on the paper last night, Ivan Toney says he's delighted to be back playing for Brentford today in their 2-2 draw against Nottingham Forest. There's a little dig there about the reason that he was banned for doing a bit of betting on the quiet. Let me see what we got here. Okay, in England we have Swansea 1, Southampton 3. That's a result. At 3 o'clock, the Blackburn versus Huddersfield, kind of a nearly local derby there. Bristol City versus Watford. That could be a tasty game there. Middlesbrough versus Rotherham. Norwich versus West Bromwich. Plymouth Argyle with Andy Devine making his debut, I think, against Cardiff City. The London derby between Queen's Park Rangers and Millwall. That'll be a bit of a feisty one, I would imagine. Sheffield Wednesday versus Coventry. Sheffield Wednesday in dire straits. Coventry doing very well. And Stoke City versus Birmingham, who are now under new management after Wayne Rooney got the bullet after 9 matches, whatever it was, some crazy small 15 matches. Sorry. And anyway, that's the games in the Championship, and then in League 2 or League 1. Bristol Rovers versus Blackpool, Burton versus Charlton, Cheltenham versus Carlisle has been postponed. Chris, that saves you a trip anyway. Exeter versus Cambridge United, Fleetwood Portsmouth, Leyton Orient versus Bolton. Good game that. That'll be a tough one for Leyton Orient, Daniela. Lincoln versus Derby, Oxford United versus Northampton, Peterborough versus Shrewsbury, and Port Vale versus Wickham postponed, and Stevenage Barnsley postponed. Wigan versus Reading at 3 o'clock. And I'm wondering, will the Reading fans do another pitch invasion they did at their own place last week? Anyway, Daniel E. is saying, if Potter is waiting for a bigger job, to be honest, what top half team touches him after that Chelsea spell? None. He could do a lot worse than Palace. Probably, yeah, possibly. I just think the guy himself may think he's made for higher things, you know. And Martin 958 saying, speaking of energies, England always seem to lose when they seem to do the Colin Kaepernick sanctimonious knee trick and the Henderson armband thing. Germany went bad and they painted the team bus as well. Well, I don't know. The knee's only done it so many times a season now. Colin Kaepernick was standing up for his rights and I had no problem with that. Standing up for his fellow black players, so no problem with that. Is Tanganga playing? Let me have a look and see if he is. I would doubt it because I don't think he's properly fit yet. Excuse me. Let me just see now what is. Pardon me while I look up my little thing here. League Championship. Millwall versus, where are we? QPR. And the lineups are. No, Tanganga is not starting, and indeed he's on the bench. So that's hope he gets a game now. He hasn't played for about a year, but it's about the sound of things. Yeah, Simon saying he's on the bench. Daniel E is saying, and Martin, how about England lose because we're pants? Got nothing to do with the conspiracy theories. True. Yeah, didn't like to say it now, but you know, there you are. And that Martin again, Daniel E, theories can be true, not conspiracy ones. Not theory. There's a difference between a theory and a conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory are total rubbish. Theories are not. And Martin again, we have some of the best players in the world. Yeah, doesn't always mean a great team, though. Unfortunately. So let me see. Let me just go into a few of the. If any of you. How is Derm? I was talking about an hour ago. I don't know where he is, to be honest with you. He's around somewhere. He'll be on soon, I would say. We had a very interesting podcast last night, the Cockerel Clock podcast, and we talked about this, that, and we had an agenda for the podcast when we started. I don't think we covered half of it because the thing went off at a tangent, but it was great fun and brilliant interaction on the program. And here he is now. The missing link is just about to arrive, I think. Or there's a blank space where Dermot's name is anyway, so he's coming in. But we have some great things about FFP, the way Manchester City have been getting specialist treatment, it seems. Here he is now. I have to fine you 15 bob for being late, Dermot. Maybe I'll just read out this comment while he's sorting himself out there. Carl Simpson, I think Palace need to sack Roy for Roy's own good. He doesn't look great and getting so worked up in press conferences. I mean, the guy's 75 years of age or whatever, you know. So I mean, he's probably the elder statesman of the game, and he's done a great job. But it's time for him to retire, I think. And Daniel Lee said nothing to do with conspiracy theories when players bottle penalties. Yeah, that's true. I hear Heung-min Son did a Panenka penalty in the Asian Cup today. down the middle, little chips, and he scored. And here they come. The cavalry's arriving now. The bus must have been late, but it's welcome to Dermot and Brad.
Yeah, well, Dermot's got to shoot off again, so I'm leaving it with you and Brad for a minute, and then, wow, thank you so much, Don and Cullen. Honestly, I don't know what to say to that. Thank you so much.
What currency is that?
That's Indian, I think, Brad. Yeah. I think.
Oh, right.
Philip, you're running the show, so you continue. So you're the man you're the hostess with the mostest. So there you go.
Oh well. Anyway,
Mary's going to come in the background with little cards for you, like Bruce Forsyth.
Yeah, exactly.
Cards is right. Do you want to go higher or lower, Brad?
Higher or lower. Anyway, how are you, Brad? Anyway.
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. I had an entertaining evening last night with my manager and one of the other girls in the office. It was my manager's birthday, so I went for a few drinks and then ended up in a little bowling alley type entertainment centre in Shepherd's Bush where they have little karaoke rooms. So we had a little karaoke room for 2 hours. Yeah.
No, Brad.
I'm sure you were the star of the show, Brad, with your singing, were you?
Brad went to one of those funny nightclubs, Philip, where anything goes. That's where he was last
night. No, he didn't. He went to karaoke bar. Now let's keep it clean, though. Come on.
That was the other night. That was the other night, Dermot. That was the other night.
Was that the other night, Brad? Was it right now? I know.
8 nights a week. He's getting his nights mixed up,
Right, Philip. I need to shoot out again very quickly. Do you want to take these 2 super chats and then I'll be straight back to you. Sorry about this, and I'm sorry I'm late as well. I do apologise.
That's all right. Donna Cullen, thank you so much for that, Donna. Wagwam, and for Mr. Brady and Mr. Moore. We were very formal there with Dermot and Philip, And also, Donna sent another one, bringing Brad into the equation, Mr. Blue Sofa Songs. There you are, Brad.
Let's say thank you. Blue Sofa's still going. Yeah, still going.
Yeah.
It's I'm taking a little bit of a break until the end of February, but I'm still writing, so we'll see how that goes. Trying to increase my craft, as they say.
Good. I'm just looking here. That the Scottish Cup round 4 is on today. Been a couple of goals in it. Motherwell 1, Alloa 0, and Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 0. So Rangers are playing later on. I think they're playing some Dumbarton or somebody. So. And then Celtic have a real tough game tomorrow against a team I never heard of. But anyway.
Well, the one game I got my eye on today is in the National League, Eastleigh versus Oldham Athletic.
Oh, Eastleigh will be smarting a little bit after getting knocked out of the cup by Newport during the week.
That's one of those two that I wanted in the cup for Spurs, but we went.
Yeah, look what we got. We couldn't do any worse than that. Anyway, no, as I said, we Manchester City yet to score a goal at our stadium, so
Well, I personally think we can win, but whether we win or not, that's who knows. I don't know. I know that we can win. I don't like the fact that when you have a really good run against the team, it has to come to an end at some stage.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're not. It's not like we've been beating, I don't know, Eastleigh or Newport County 5 or 6 times in a row. We've been beating Manchester City 4 or 5 times in a row. So that's the only thing that does worry me, that run will have to come to an end at some stage. But we've got a team good enough to beat Manchester City. We just have to play our best.
And we also have the very possibility that James Maddison will return on Friday.
I saw that, yeah. I saw that.
They've got De Bruyne back. We've got Maddison back.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what sort of team City put out that night, because they put a strong one out in the last round against Huddersfield. So, the chances are it'll be a full-strength City team, but we need to be full-strength as well, obviously.
Yeah, I think Guardiola will probably want to win that game just for the fact that we do keep beating them.
Yeah,
I think I think he'll. I don't think he'll take the FA Cup as seriously this season as he did last season, but I think he'll take that game seriously because it's a game that they haven't won in many years. So yeah, it's going to be a cracking game. I'm just really annoyed it's on a Friday night. That's anything that there's a good side and a bad side. Bad side of Friday night. I don't think Friday night's in football, honestly. No. But the only good thing is if we have a good result, that's the game out of the way for the weekend, and I can relax and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
That's true.
And look at all the other fans suffer.
If they lose, then you can sulk for the whole weekend like the rest of us,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Especially as our next game is on the following Wednesday night against the Tony Brigade of Brentford. Tony is going to be back. interesting to see how he gets on now today after 8 months out. And,
yeah, they're all having a go at him for his interview, aren't they?
Yeah. It's a bit double meaning, really. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
If I was a Brentford fan, I wouldn't be that confident whether he's going to stay.
No, me neither. Having said that, I don't think I want Tony at Tottenham.
No, I don't want him. No.
I just think he might be a bit disruptive in the dressing room. I've got nothing to base it on other than the fact that he's been done for gambling. So,
well, you know that Ange won't take any prisoners as regards attitude and look what he's done with Jed Spence. Like of all the players in the squad that he took over, Jed Spence is the only one didn't make the grade.
Yeah,
and now look at him. He's never played for Tottenham again. He's gone.
And you got, if you read between the lines of the Leeds manager when he released him back to Tottenham, you thought there was there's something not right there, but with that player and his sort of attitude. But again, we're not on the training track, we don't know. But going by what we've heard, I just wish Tottenham would start selling some players rather than loaning them out all the time.
Eric Dyer, we thought we were getting 3 or 4 million for Eric Dyer. Now he's going to walk away in June. No money coming in from it all, unless they got a loan fee from Bayern Munich.
I don't know how to. Yeah, because if he's on loan, but then his contract ends at the end of that period. So at the end of the period, that's it. He hasn't got a team effectively.
Coming in here in League One, Bristol Rovers 0, Blackpool 1. Blackpool were great against Nottingham Forest the other night in the cup. They should have won it.
I missed it. Yeah, I saw the score.
MK Dons 1, Morecambe 0, Kidderminster 0, Aldershot 1, Livingston 0, Wraith Rovers 1 in the Scottish Cup, and in the Championship an early goal for Blackburn 1-0 against Huddersfield. So goals are coming in quite quickly at the minute. And as I repeated earlier there before you came on there, the unmentionables down the road 5-0 against Palace.
I saw that. But I guess she's quite nice. I guess that
you're watching now, Sky Sports as well.
I guess that we have to accept the fact that Arsenal are probably a couple of seasons ahead of us, or a couple of years ahead of us in their development, and I think in next season or season after we'll be beating teams like Palace by the same sort of margin. I think we're still only 6 months into the new Tottenham under Ange Postecoglou, whereas they've had 8-9 years under Arteta. Certainly 2 seasons. This is the second season where they,
it seems like 9 years. It just seems like 9 years. I think there's a very good article by a player or a pundit that I didn't think had a lot of time for. It's Gary Neville. I was raving about Tottenham's chances in the second half of the season. He said, our players right now, the style of football we play and the way Ange's revolutionised the club, he can see Tottenham having a really strong finish of the season. So my theory on that is, I know Dermot's going to say we're going to win the league and all this sort of stuff. It'd be great if it would happen. But I think next season is vital for us, because what's going to happen in the summer, we're going to get rid of any deadwood that's still around, and players are going to want to come to the club because they see what's going on.
Yeah,
and we have got the nucleus of a trophy-winning side here, so it's just a matter of Ange keeping it going. And I think what he's done up to now has been nothing short of miraculous. And
it's amazing, absolutely amazing. I can't believe how down I felt after last season, the end of last season. And I wasn't the only one, I'm sure, that thought, do I renew my season ticket? And I did, obviously, but I know many people that were giving it second thoughts. And as I said before, that's the first time I've never watched the players do their end of season lap of honour title, lap of dishonour thing. It's the first time I've not done that. I just basically went and headed for the bar, as is my want. But and the fact that I'm feeling now how I felt at the early times of Pochettino, which is probably the last time we had a together club, if you like. So I think he's done absolutely amazingly well. But I was chatting to in the pub I go to after work. The barman is an Australian guy, and he was a Brisbane Roar fan.
Okay,
and he said, "Oh, he was absolutely amazing at Brisbane Roar when they won the title. I think it's 2 years in a row." And he said he was absolutely gutted when he went from Brisbane Roar to Melbourne, back to Melbourne. And apparently the reason he went back to Melbourne was because his wife wanted to go back to Melbourne. So he actually said to me, if you see Angie, says tell him I still love him, sort of thing. Not his wife, but I still love him. So and he was full of praise. And I think I really believe, and Aussie Paul on Irish Hotspur show and the Hotspur Hippie.
Paul,
I mean, he was praising him for many years, many months before, and I think you'll find I lived in Australia and I didn't realise how big this guy is in Australia. He's a massive over there. They love him, and that's why I've got 2 of my friends or 2 or 3 of my friends in Australia that support other teams that are following Spurs this season because of Big Ange. So yeah.
Yeah, do you see that? They have a big mural of him out in Melbourne, haven't they? Big mural on the wall of him.
Yeah.
But Brad, we met up, Dermot and myself met up with you at the AC Milan game in March.
Oh God, yeah.
That was really a low point in my Spurs career.
Oh, it was awful, wasn't it?
Not meeting you. Sorry, don't get that wrong. The game was. I should have rephrased that a bit better now. But
someone clip that. Someone clip that and put it.
We were all pretty down after that game now. Because it was such a spineless performance. No jizz about it at all. And but here we are now, 3 months out of the season. Ange comes in 3 months later, and look where we are now.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, that Milan game, it was cold, it was wet, it was awful. And I just remember when we're 1-0 down, going into the last sort of 5 minutes, I'm actually sitting there thinking, do I really want to get an equaliser? I just want to go home. I've had enough of this. This is rubbish. And I thought, do I really want to see another half an hour of this? And that was. I don't think I'm the only one that felt that way. It's just so awful.
Well, I know we went back. There was a gang of us staying in the hotel out of Stansted Airport, and we all got back to the hotel about 11 o'clock or 11:30 at night. And everybody was sitting in the bar, and everybody had a drink in front of them, but nobody was speaking. Looking at each other, so what do we say about this? This is just pathetic.
I tell you what happened.
After it,
me, Jack, and Dave went to a chicken shop just down from the stadium. When they saw a fight kick off in there, we just went back to where we were staying and thought, right, we're going home tomorrow. We just ate our chicken and chips, whatever we bought, and just sort of went to bed and sort of got up and went home.
Yeah.
It was a very sort of anticlimax feel from the 3 days of building up to it and getting excited and Champions League and you go there.
In fact, it was a really good couple of days apart from the actual football.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sorry. Right, did you go through the rest of the chat, Philip?
No, just a few more to go. Most of them done. We've got this one here.
No, this one here, Brian McGuire. Have you gone down that one?
Oh, we just got sidetracked now. You might have more transfer. I haven't had a chance to look at much transfer news today. So
I haven't heard anything. I'm waiting for a massive update from our source. Also, I'm waiting for a massive update from him on the FFP and Man City as well. What can we use and what we can't use? But we're waiting for a massive update on that. So anytime, as soon as it breaks, we will break it here. Philip's your favourite person on the telly. He looks shaved. Look at him. Yeah.
Before you mention him, I see Plymouth have got a goal, 1 down to Cardiff on Andy Devine's debut. Yeah. Barrow 1, Crew 0. Morton 1, Montrose 0 in the Scottish Cup. And
Watford have just taken the lead.
In the championship. I was just saying there, the Southampton goal led a charmed life in the game against Swansea in the last few minutes. Swansea hit the crossbar, the post, and Bazuma made 2 unbelievable saves.
Yeah.
Could have turned a 1-3 into a 4-3 to Swansea, and Algeria and Burkina Faso was 1 each.
Yeah. Daniel Lee says, I'm from Milton Keynes. MK Dons are a joke of a football club. To get more away fans coming to their ground than actual MK Dons fans. It's embarrassing.
Wow. They're not a hometown club. They were just planted there, weren't they?
It's probably because they're more or less a made-up team, aren't they, really? I mean, obviously they used to be Wimbledon, but, it's just... I know. Actually, I used to work with a guy who was a Wimbledon season ticket holder, and he actually followed the original Wimbledon when they became Wimbledon AFC, when they broke up. When he didn't go to Milton Keynes, he just basically went back to following the original Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So, it's a strange one.
Are they in League 2 now? Or League 1? I know they're both in the same division, aren't they? MK Dons and the AFC Wimbledon. I think they are. Matthew, hello, comrade. Philip and lead them on. Yeah,
I
we've
see that, I
taken
see that.
distinction
Shut
of
up,
a Russian.
The Communist Party.
We've taken a very Russian feel on this channel somehow. So we have to introduce our mate down below, Brad, who will be now named as Brad Boris or Boris Brad.
Oh no, please no! Don't link me any name like Boris. No, please.
No, not Boris Yeltsin. You don't want to be linked to him.
No, I'm thinking Boris Johnson.
No, I'm not thinking of Boris Yeltsin, who liked to drink and dance around women and slap and sit on planes in the international airports and not come off the plane because he's too damn drunk to come
Yeah, but I think to be honest with you, Dermot, and I'm speaking for myself personally, I think there's a difference between getting drunk and dancing around and getting drunk and dancing around being a complete wanker. So, which Boris Yeltsin was. So, I mean, that's the difference. I think,
tell you, Boris Yeltsin for me, right, as a kid was comedy gold. You didn't know, right? As a teenager, you loved him because you didn't know. There he was in the start of the 90s, waving the Russian flag when the people may not remember, but there was a coup in Russia in 1990 to get rid of Gorbachev. There's a very good documentary on YouTube, and Yeltsin saved the day basically, and he came into this big white hope of turning Russia into a modern society, a modern country with modern values, and all he did was drink vodka. That was all he did. And he came to Ireland once, Brad. No word of a lie, Philip, you know this as well as I do. All the Irish dignitaries are at the end of the plane, right, waiting for him to come off. They must have stood there for about, 2 hours, Philip? 3 hours?
Yeah, a couple of hours.
And he's on the plane, paralytically drunk, can't even get off the plane, right? And then they said, the tour's been cancelled and flew off again. So
he blamed the security staff for not waking him up. I'd say if you put a bomb next to his bed, that wouldn't have woken him up. No,
so, okay, we'll have to, right, here's something for you. If we were a Russian party, what would Brad's Russian name be? So there you go, lads.
And it can't be Bradsky because ski is Polish. It's not Russian.
So we've got Gorbachev in the corner there with the glasses on. We just need to get a big red marker on his head. So there's Gorbachev.
I don't know. I quite being called Lennon because you got the Beatles influence as well. So
Lennon, Brad Lennon. And I'll take Yeltsin. All right, I just take it. All right, I will take it on the chin. But Philip, there is a bit of Gorbachev about Philip, don't you think, Brad?
Well, just as long as you don't say there's a bit of Putin about me, that's all.
Here we go. We've got Brad. This one's from Matthew, by the way. I don't know if you'll take that as a compliment, Philip.
Oh no!
Slava Vivian. Oh no!
Well, I will tell
Matthew,
you.
Just one thing: anybody that ever criticised Stalin was never heard of again. So I'll leave it at that.
I will tell you, he is the only world leader to stop the German to actually the amount of. There's that again.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
That little noise is normally because I get the stream.
No, we're having it last night. I think it's on your computer, Philip. I think it's on your laptop and notifications.
Something coming in on WhatsApp.
I reckon it's off your.
But I don't know. I was thinking I close it. I haven't even got WhatsApp open on my laptop at the moment.
Well, when I got it on the screen, and when you sent me the link, it went did that sound. So I think it's probably my WhatsApp on my PC, my laptop.
I have my notifications off muted on my PC, so
I do for most of them actually.
That's the first time it's happened today now. But anyway, go on, carry on.
Okay. We've got Dermot, the Austrian painter, all hell Barney. Yeah, we got a hell Barney. Big up Barney.
Oh dear.
Is the Palm Hod notifications now, Brad? Now come on, be clean, Brad. We've got
great, another sex party to go to next week. Brilliant, love it.
Big up to you, Brad, for actually embracing it. But you got to embrace it, Brad. We've got Philip Garbage Chuck. Sorry,
the Pope was talking about sex and wanking the other day. In between the lines, anyway. He was saying that is
that a new YouTube channel, by the way?
No, he was saying about how sex is good for love between two people, blah blah blah, but it could also be very corrupting if it's not, to do with love. And he's basically saying that porn and masturbation was like. Someone made the point. If God is watching you while you masturbate, then you're not really masturbating. You're not really alone. So apologies to anyone religious out there, but
There you go.
Can I just say very quickly, it has been lovely doing this YouTube channel with you, Philip.
Nice, wasn't it? Yeah, it's been very nice.
We had a great run, and Brad's come in within 5 minutes. We've been taken down and banned from YouTube. We will come back again under a new guise called THFC. I shall not offend you again.com. So yeah.
Dermot, I have to get the good one here. Brad, this is about the GEA, so this is for Dermot, really, right? Rumor has it that the Mayo GAA was offered big money by a dog food company for the naming rights for McHale Park and Castle Bar.
Yeah,
but the county board turned it down as they thought Winalot Park was just taking the piss.
Did you see they changed the name of the stadium in Cork, Philip?
Yeah, Super Value Park in Kiev or something.
Yeah.
I've never been called handsome before.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. I'm a bit worried though. It's Matthew saying it to you though, Brad. I'd be a bit concerned there if I was you. I don't know.
Well, each to their own, I guess. But
we've got Philip. We've got Philip. Garbage truck. Dermot up truck. We've got another one here for you, Brad Boskachov.
Boskachov.
That's quite good, actually.
We've got here.
We've got the goals going in here. Norwich 1, West Brom 0.
We've got Dermo Canchelsis.
2 and Barrow 1, Crew 1.
Yeah. Blackpool have gone 2-0 up against Bristol Rovers. Yeah. Dembele has not the Dembele.
How many Dembeles are there? There must be 50 of them.
Do you know what? Guys? It makes me remember the Only Fools and Horses episode when they're in France and there's loads of Uncle Alberts about.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's the same thing with Dembele. He goes to a pub and he just sees everyone that looks like him. We've got another one for you here, Brad. Where is it now? Here we go. That's one for you now from Dragon D's Nuts.
Be back in 1 second, lads. 1 second.
Philip's now, even though it's something here, Brad. Philip keeps coming up with Manchester. He's now Bobby today, so we have to call him Bobby. We have to call him Bobby. Actually, I'm gonna. Shall I change his name on these YouTube thing to Bobby Brad? Shall I? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, go on.
Bobby Brady. Actually, Bobby Brady sounds quite good, I must admit.
Yeah. There we go. Hang on, I need to put it in capital letters, dude. Just don't tell him. See if he notices. You and me a bit like Top Gear. When they get drunk, right? When we start stitching the other person up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you and me. We can blame the chat.
Going back to the football, is that that's a big Welsh derby, isn't it? Newport versus Wrexham.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We got another one here. This is for you, Brad.
Good luck.
Oh dear. I don't know why do people tune into us, Brad? Because they know they're going to get a laugh, they're going to get a joke, and know we're going to take the piss out of one another. Basically, we're Top Gear of the YouTube world. You, me, and Brad.
Well, I actually got beers in for last night, because I didn't know I was going out after work, so I've now got enough beers in the fridge to bloody feed an army. So
that's all right. So by 1 o'clock tomorrow morning, you should be swinging by the
I might cheat. Have one after my my cloudy lemonade.
Why not? If we were Top Gear, here's a question for you guys. If we were Top Gear, which one would we be? Who'd be Jeremy Clarkson? Who'd be Richard Hammond? And who'd be James May? So
I'd rather be James May out of them, to be fair.
Yeah. Now, I'm leaving it up to the chat. Right, this is a bit of fun. But if we were Top Gear, as we've changed Philip's name, of course, Bobby Brady, because he's now been called, which one would we be, guys? So let you pick. You come up with I can't wait to Carl Simpson, what his answer is going to be. East File have gone 2-0 up against Peterhead in the League Two. There, Brad. Jonathan Page after 23 minutes.
Ooh.
Blackburn, Huddersfield have equalised against Blackburn. Crew have equalised against Barrow. And Blackpool have gone 2-0 up against Neil. There you go. That's the police after Brad, after doing the Royal Train robbery. I was watching a bit about that this morning, actually. There you go, Bobby. How are you? You all right, Bobby?
Who is so? Well, have you changed my name? I didn't know what you were talking about there for a minute.
Yeah. Well,
I watched a very funny clip on. I can't remember the comedian's name, but it was. If anyone remembers the Sex Pistols on the Bill Grundy show,
yeah.
Well, he just does exactly the same sketch, but they're all Hamish. You know, the Hamish that they've had.
Oh yeah.
It's hysterical.
I did ask the chat if we were Top Gear, who would we be? Which characters of Top Gear would we be?
Oh, I never watched Top Gear. I never watched it. So
you should do. You should do. It's funny. Carl says Brad would be James May, Philip is Richard Hammond, and Dermo is Jeremy Clarkson, and I am the Stig. Well, you know who you are now, but I'd take that actually, Jeremy Clarkson. I like Jeremy Clarkson. I think he's funny. Why we named you Bobby was when you put your camera off, it came up Bobby with the Full-Time Sports Network. So me and Brad decided to call you Bobby.
Oh, okay, right.
So we're going to leave it up there, Bobby Brady.
Just a message to Carl. Just send that to me in my WhatsApp account.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to be James May, and your grant was wished. Anyway, look at Stephen Gerrard on the telly. I know that was Stephen Gerrard's twin brother. Anyway, he's at Fleetwood. Yeah. Now, guys, let's talk a bit about Stephen Gerrard and Saudi Pro League. Is that what you're doing, Bobby?
Eat the crisp.
I know you are, Bobby. Big up, Bobby. Yeah. Bobby Brady. There's a ring to that, isn't there, Brad?
It's
Bobby
very
Brady.
good, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I see. Me and Brad come up with a lot of things. You know,
I can't go away for 2 minutes to get my name changed.
Yeah, well, we did ring up the Irish authorities, and we have got it done by D-Poll now. You are known now as Bobby Brady III. So there you go.
Well, there was a show that I used to be on for a person that will remain nameless for obvious reasons. Who used to have he used to give you between 1 and 10, and you picked a number, and he had a load of names. Yeah, and that was the name that you got for the sort of shows. Yeah. As I said, I'm not mentioning the name because he's a bit persona non grata at the moment. But
you mean Lord Lucan?
There's a guy's been sent off at Gateshead called Reagan Booty. Wow, brilliant.
I've just changed it back now, Philip, to your normal name now.
He probably got his first yellow card. The referee goes, "What's your name?" He goes, "Reagan Booty." Oh, don't take the piss. You're off, mate. Second yellow.
Yeah. Stephen Gerrard, guys. Now I was watching a bit. I'll start with you, Philip, on this, and I go to Brad. Look, I was watching a bit of Jim White and Simon Jordan yesterday morning, and it was a case of he's been rewarded for failure. That's because he's got a new contract. Philip, has he been given 15 million reasons to stay in Saudi Arabia? He's saying it's great for his life. He's learning about himself, and it's a great new experience for him and his family. And is he just reading off the script, or has he been rewarded with failure?
He's been told, say nice things about us, and we'll reward you. What you say may have no relevance to the truth at all, but we'll just pay you to talk bullshit. Because if you look at what Emerick Laporte, the ex-Man City player, has said, he is totally regretting going to Saudi Arabia. He's come out and said, nothing is as we were promised. Nothing is as it seemed. Promises have been broken. We spend 3 hours a day getting the training in the traffic in Riyadh, which is unbelievable, apparently. And he says, no, he said, if he had a chance, he would never, the last 6 months again, he would never go to Saudi Arabia. So that's the truth. Gerrard's been paid to tell a lie.
Yeah, and also Henderson's come back, hasn't he? He's come back.
Yeah, he's gone to Ajax. Yeah.
That Henderson never got paid for the time he was in Saudi Arabia as part of the deal that he's come home on.
Wow,
that's interesting. Yeah.
What's been clipped here? Somebody want?
Oh, you weren't here. What you weren't here? You weren't here. Basically, Philip was saying when you guys come over for the AC Milan game, and he sort of said, "Oh, I came over and we met up with you, Brad. It was probably the worst day of my life," or something to do with that.
I tell you one thing: the meeting you, Brad, was the best day of my life.
Well, that was the highlight of the day because it was We were so depressed after it. You know?
For me, Brad, the funny thing was me and Philip were waiting outside the stadium, right? We were talking about going in, weren't we? And the fella couldn't get the gate to open. And there was a fella behind us going nuts.
His zapper machine wasn't working. It pinged the car.
They never do. They never do. Those things never work.
Bournemouth have QPR have gone 1-0 up against Millwall. I don't know if that's in the stands or on the pitch. I don't know who's winning that one. And Bournemouth have gone 1-0 up against Burnley, and Steinhouse Muir are 1-0 up against Strand. That sounds something like a Stingray.
If you live in the Shepherd's Bush area, you want a bit of entertainment, then go to it used to be O'Neill's Bar. I think it's called the Syndicum Social Club now. Go to that pub after the game, because that's normally where the away fans go. So that people are Millwall fans.
In other words, you'll not be there tomorrow morning.
Apparently, there's a massive sign awaiting demolition.
At 5 o'clock this evening.
Yeah. Please, hard hats are given to you as you walk into the pub. Martin says Saudi League will collapse under the weight of its own. Do you agree with that, Philip and Brad?
Yeah.
Do you think it will collapse?
Yeah,
under its
it's a league that I don't think anyone other than the people in Saudi Arabia got any interest in whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, can you name any teams? I can't. You know,
I had.
Etihad or something.
Yeah.
No, that's the Man City Stadium, Philip.
No, but Al Ittihad. They're all called Al something or other, you know.
That's the Man City Stadium.
There's such a load of gangsters out there. There's one that haven't got one called Al Capone.
The Man City Stadium's called Al Ittihad. That's the Man City Stadium. Yeah.
It's called what do they call it?
It's called the cheating capital of UEFA.
Well, we know that. Yeah.
Plymouth have equalised, by the way. So,
I
didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. Bonnie Rig Rose, Furcock is 1-0 in the South in the Scottish Cup. Aldershot have gone 2-1 up against Kidderminster, and Bournemouth are now 1-1 with Burnley. Philip, we were going to talk a little bit about the FFP and you understanding it, how it works. Do you want to go? Do you want to get that graphic up and you explain to people, because it is quite so people would then understand it. So let me bring it up. A lot of work went into this. A lot of technical work went into this. How this works. Philip was on the phone to the Premier League all day yesterday. He really was. Brad was talking to Manchester City, got nowhere. He was on the phone for 10 hours and he was still on hold. Apparently, they were waiting for somebody to come back and put 10 pence into the meter, but they were still waiting. Before we bring this graphic up, Brad, I want to start with you. We're all here on a Saturday watching the football scores because we love football. Like you got Spartans lose 2-1 to Hearts in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup. Do you know, you got Blackburn 1-0 now with Huddersfield, with a Sky reporter who looks a bit like a famous movie star reporting on it. Arsenal, don't know I can't believe they beat Palace 5-0. That went my Palace prediction down to Swanee. And then you got Man City, who are in a different league to themselves, can do what they want, say what they want, pay what they want. It's football lost its soul?
I think it's probably started to lose its soul many, many years ago, but it's just basically the modern world happening to football. That's happening everywhere. You look at what's happened to football, you look at what's happened to cricket, and sometimes it's for the good. I think what we all, I personally didn't like what Kerry Packer did to cricket back when that started, but then it became absolutely brilliant. So things are changing. I think unfortunately, money means a lot in this world. We're very money centric, and when a team like Man City gets new owners with loads and loads of money and can literally buy the league. Let's face it, they were back in the old League One many, many years ago, and they literally bought the league and all their success. But I hope that personally, I hope that that if they've been done for financial fair play rules, any financial irregularities. God, try and say that when you had a few beers. Any sort of financial I can't say it when I'm sober. Any financial irregularities, and throw the book at them because it's not good. It's not fair on all the other clubs. But then I would have a bit of sympathy because I think, well, what would Tottenham be if we were in that situation and we were winning stuff? We'd be loving it, absolutely loving it. So. You do have to feel about again, it's the football fans that suffer. You look what's happened to Everton. It's not, are the clubs suffering? No, the fans are suffering if they get relegated because of losing 10 points. And it's always the way, isn't it? The people at the top they will never suffer. They've got enough money to cover it. So I think football lost its soul many, many years, or started losing its soul many, many years ago. But you know what? People that are born now and start watching football, it'll be something that's totally...
They don't know any difference, do they?
Yeah, they won't know any different. It's like I feel quite privileged, even though I don't like being the age I am. But I feel quite privileged. I've seen go from a TV with 3 channels to being able to use my mobile phone to do anything virtually. And I've seen that.
Think of Paul Phillip. He went back from watching 1 channel to what he's got now. Bless him.
And sadly, I hate to say this, sadly, there are kids that will start watching football now, and VAR that'll be the game to them. They won't know any different.
Look, Philip, look, I can't. Look, I made it. What did I say the other day, Jimmy? What was it, Jimmy Tarmac? I said the other day. I did. Was that the FA Cup? He's on mute. Look, he's so unprofessional.
No, somebody muted me. I didn't do it.
I didn't mute you. Why would I want to mute you? You're the voice of reason on this channel.
Stop me talking.
No, you're like the president. You're like the president of the United States on this channel, a man who should not be named.
Not one of them anyway. Don't mention
President Reagan. You remind me of Reagan. I could see Philip there already speak. Mr. President, tear down this wall. He'd be like going to Arsenal. Arsenal, just go back to South London.
Tear down this pitch.
That was the biggest speech in the 80s, wasn't it, from Reagan when he stood by the Berlin Wall and he said, it wasn't. That was. Would you say that's one bit of history, Philip, we can look back on, right? I think, God, I remember where I was when that was said.
Oh yeah. Do you know something? Just for not for a laugh, but I happened to be in Berlin on the 25th anniversary of the wall coming down.
Oh right, wow.
What a weekend that was. Unbelievable. It was really brilliant. You couldn't get moving in the place. It was just so busy. And,
I thought you were going to say you were there the day the wall came down.
Oh no.
Did you hear who they sourced out to do the demolition work?
McAlpines.
McAlpines were sourced out to do the demolition work. Apparently they couldn't get anyone, so they got Del Boy and Trigger to take it down instead.
Oh, right, nice. Yeah, no.
Rodney got lost somewhere around France for Grandad and Uncle Albert.
I was living in Australia at the time, and me and my mate Dave and his sister Gail were coming over to England on holiday. Yeah. And we included a free flight to anywhere in Europe. And we looked at Germany. This was in 1988. And we thought, well, it'd be really good to go and see the Berlin Wall. And then we thought, nah, that'll be up there for many, many years. Got many flights to go and see that. So I think we went to Amsterdam, which was pretty damn good, I have to say. But the following year it came down. But I have been to Berlin back in the 2000s, I think. I have to say, at that time, I know what it's like now, you could tell the difference between the East German side and the West German side. Yeah.
You're coming in on the train from the old Schönfeld airport. Yeah. You come east to west, and the further west you go, the better the housing got.
Yeah.
Go. Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Wigan, it was Newport going 1-0 up against Wrexham. Wrexham are now down to 10 men. Ooh, so Wrexham are 1-0 down to Newport, a Welsh derby there. Sorry, Philip, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I was in Berlin. First time I went to Berlin, went on one of these tours, these walkabout tours that you take. And it took us into this car park in front of an office, in front of an apartment block just on the eastern side of the border. And we said, what the hell is you bringing us here for? It's only a car park. He says, do you know where you're standing now? And we said, no. You're standing in the very spot that Hitler's body was burnt in 1945. Oh, wow. And everybody's looking like that. You know, Jesus. Apparently,
sure?
they were standing right over the site of Hitler's bunker, which has been filled in with concrete to stop it becoming a shrine to neo-Nazis and whatever. But that's where it was, right underneath. But then 100 yards away, there's just another quick story about this. There's a memorial to all the Jews that were slaughtered in the Holocaust, right? It's a series of big concrete slabs. You know, it's like different irregular sizes, quite unusual. It's like a maze. But anyway, Berlin has a terrible graffiti problem. If you watch, but there's graffiti everywhere in Berlin, you know, and they thought, hang on, this is going to be an absolutely target for graffiti artists, so we're going to have to do something about it. So when they built the monument, they put out a tender for someone to provide a coating that would stop graffiti sticking to it, so graffiti wouldn't be able to be made on it, you know. And the company that won the tender to do that was the same company that made the Zyklon B gas that was used in the gas chambers.
Oh, Jesus. My God.
And that is a true story. That's a true story.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know, that's
Well,
what I love about Berlin. There's so many stories of that going around, you know.
Did you go to the
Anyway.
to the Berlin Wall Museum?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting round, yeah.
Anyway, back to the football. That is an amazing story. It's the Hitler bit. You sure he wasn't going to jump out from behind the corner or something?
A quick one also on that. Whenever they were renovating the site to build that monument, they found a bunker under the site.
Oh.
And it turns out that was Heinrich Himmler's bunker. So Heinrich Himmler's bunker is now underneath the Jewish monument.
Oh, I know. I must admit, when we walked past the main mosque in Berlin, and that had like an armed guard, like literally a tank outside it. Yeah.
Big up to 7SC. Big up, fellas. Big up 7. Hope you're doing well. Near Shafton. Government crack consists in full cause unity. Its power lifts go out. Walls come tumbling down. Yet they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Hey,
it's an old Style Capsule song, but written by Paul Weller.
Hitler was an artist too in college. That's what I don't know why I just read that out.
He was a house painter.
Yeah, so. and the
Stasi Museum. Yeah, that's East. Yeah, that's East Berlin Police. Yeah.
Wasn't Freud's dad in the Stasi or something? You ever Stefan Freud? Yeah, I'm sure there was something.
He was East Berlin. He was from East Berlin, all right. Yeah.
Anyway, back to football, lads. Everyone asks about the football. Either that or he's saying he's taking the piss out of me. Yeah, I was about to say, back to football, please.
We talk about everything with this channel, so you know.
Yeah. No, Philip is our political analyst of world politics. He's very good at his job. He gives views on everything from Barney the dinosaur leaving West Ham to Del Boy going round the roundabout.
You're the expert on Barney the dinosaur.
Hey guys, a very good series on it's on probably on iPlayer now. On the Union, the British Union or the whatever, done by I can't remember the guy's name. But it's really, really good. I've got one episode to watch it. Yeah, if you like your history.
Right.
Just Kidderminster 2-2 against Aldershot. Patrick Thistle are 1-0 up against Ross County. Livingston have equalised against Wraith Rovers, and Newport are still 1-0 up against Wrexham. That's a big shock for me, but that's a Welsh derby. Results today, Philip. Arsenal 5-0 winners against Palace.
Didn't I tell you to win well that game well? They were going for a draw.
I think they're doing what we're going to be doing in the next couple of seasons. I think is winning those sort of games well.
And also Southampton won 3-1. Portsmouth are 1-0 up against Fleetwood.
That's a record for Southampton. 20 league wins without defeat.
Yeah. That is why Barney is our leader. All hail Barney. God save the father. Oh, fair enough. Billy Bragg, which side are you on, boy? What's the point? I'm not even bringing up that comment. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to bring it up. Do you see it there, Philip?
No, hang on.
Don't bring it up, though.
No.
Matthew, has any of you all been to Russia? Well, funnily enough, Philip has. He went there with Ireland, and Philip walked around Moscow pretending to be sheep. And every time he went by a police, a guardie over there, he just did sheep noises. So, yeah. Brad has been. Brad went there as a cockerel, pretending he was chirpy.
This is a picture for Neil. A picture for Neil Shafton. Sorry. That's me chatting to Billy Gragg after his Adelaide gig in 1984, I think, or 1985.
I'll tell you one thing, Brad. Don't take this as offensive, but you haven't changed at all. You're still as young now as you looked then.
And we all used to wear, not for any, I know we're not supposed to wear red, but we always used to wear red Harringtons. We also be big Redskins fans, which is another band, by the way. But yeah, so we all had red Harringtons. Yeah, he is. Yeah, very amiable.
Coventry are 1-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday. Damn. Peterborough United are 1-0 down to Shrewsbury. Philip, question. I'll start with you on this, sir. Question is, the most pointless winter break ever. What one lot play one week and the others played the week after?
Yeah. They should have took it all in one hit, but I suppose they couldn't because of the FA Cup replays, so it was just time that it's only 2 weeks they could do it in. And it's a help for some teams, all right, but not for others. And
I think
they should have closed the whole thing down like they do in Germany. But
I think from our point of view, it's good that our players get a rest and that we've got a lot of injury problems. But the problem is you have this sort of forced rest, and then they'll go back to the friendly internationals where they'll be playing 2 or 3 games a week. So it's a bit funny, but it's probably come at the right time for us that we've got time for injured players like James Maddison to have an extra week to recover, and also a chance for them to he's given them a couple of days off, go and see their families and that. So.
Can I please just read this out? Welcome to the live chat, everyone. But remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Yeah. Thank you. There you go. Philip's looking at it going, yes, well said, Dermot. Yes, well said. He's thinking, what a load of bollocks.
I can agree with Ed M on this, but St. Petersburg is gorgeous. Beautiful city.
Now, I don't want to sound silly. That St. Petersburg, is that...
Russia.
Yeah. And that's what used to be Leningrad, Stalingrad, that sort of.
Yeah, I forget whether it was Stalingrad, Leningrad. Leningrad, I think it was. It's the museum there is absolutely incredible.
Big T said from Man United, is he holding a kitchen light bulb or an early light soap? Who are you on about? Big T says, I can't type and God in my privacy. I just know why I brought that up. I saw it in the chat and I just had to bring it up. It's the weirdest thing to put up. I
think Big T has just won the internet today, I think.
Or he's broke down the internet. Any Inverness CT are 1-0 up against Glasgow. There's not really a lot of goals around, is there, Philip, to be fair?
No, not really. No.
That's what we're talking about, Russia.
Yes. Guard your pride. I knew that was going to go somewhere.
It's nuts, isn't it? Absolute nuts.
It just came up in the chat, and I don't know why YouTube put it there. It just suddenly just come up.
They must have heard something. Somebody said something.
Well, you know what I've found on Twitter now, X, is that
it's called Why.
I've actually, this has happened twice. I've replied to or done a comment saying that a certain person is an idiot, and when you hit the post, it comes up with a note from Twitter saying, "Do you really want to post that?"
Now, shall we now get back to what we were going to talk about half an hour before we got sidetracked with Berlin Wall and
forgotten what you're going to talk about now.
Yeah, with Berlin Walls and Philip flying around half the world. Brad meeting superstars, looking like he did then. Now you haven't changed at all, Brad. You have not changed at all.
Yeah, hopefully I'm growing old.
You've still got that youthful look
you're
about
you. Growing old disgracefully, isn't that right, Brad?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Me and Philip do it. Well, Philip does it quite. Philip is the king of that. I'm growing on disgracefully. He really is. He's just the master. So we're following in. You're the blaze. You're the man that's blazing through all these, breaking the walls down for the likes of me and Brad to follow in your slipstream, Philip, to be fair.
Whatever. Yeah.
We're going to have T-shirts made of you when I'm 60. We're gonna actually have a bank holiday called the Philip Brady Day Off. There you go.
Well, I've termed my next birthday is my Sergeant Pepper's birthday.
What, 64?
Right. Yeah.
You seriously 64?
Yeah, in August, yeah.
You don't look at that. You don't look at.
Thank you.
Are
Thank
you
I don't
shitting
feel it.
me?
Well, sometimes I do, to be fair, but
Are you definitely shitting me? Are you being serious?
sadly, I am being serious.
You
Yeah.
don't look 64, Brad.
Thanks. I don't feel it. I sort of, yeah. As I say, you know,
Absolutely.
I'm still a child. I still love watching Thunderbirds and stuff like that. You know.
I mean, I was saying to Philip when he said, "Look, Philip, I'm not going to say your age, but I said to you at the time you didn't look your age either. I was shocked when you told me. Do you know?
So but listen,
I mean,
it's only a number now. It's only a number now.
I look 90. I admit that.
Well, you've got, you know, this is your last leg. Nowadays, geez, life's for living, you know. That's what I look at.
The problem is, guys, now you guys are all you know, married or with partners. The problem is when you're single like myself, you age, but the girls you fancy stay the same age. That's the only problem.
Look, Brad, it could be worse. You could be Paul Merson.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
that's it. You know, you could be.
Talking of which, he's on the screen now at the minute. I got a t-shirt. I got a t-shirt made. It's got retired. I'm technically retired, but I'm not retired. Retired under new management. That's the wife. I'll see the wife.
The point? Yeah. What's the point? Thought I was 60. Well, I'll take that. It's very kind of you. I'm 47 next month.
Thank you, Ed M. Thinking I'm in my mid-40s. I wish I was.
Yeah, I did. I thought you and me were the same age, Brad.
Yeah,
I am literally dumbstruck by that. I'm not usually speechless, but I'm speechless. Philip has seen me speechless 3 times.
But my mum, if you met my mum, if you saw my mum, if you saw my mum, she's like 88 at the moment. You'd never think she was 88. So yeah, I think it's in the gene.
It will happen when Spurs win the league.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll win it in my lifetime. I think we've got a team that next season or season after will be in with a chance. If they
think it's going to happen this season, don't you, Dermot?
Yeah, of course it is. Do you know, you two are just behind the times. Right, now, shall we get on to this comment? This bit of the show, which we were going to talk about. Getting close to midnight here. Brad is mad drunk, just sitting on He can't stand up. So what he's got next to him, he's got a load of cushions which you can't see that hold them up.
I do actually have a cushion behind me, but that's because I've got my back to keep my back a little bit of a.
Yeah. Philip is sort of there nodding off, thinking,
I'll be the evicted out the dining room again. So
you'd be evicted out the kitchen for you know it. You'd be in my shed. I'm actually doing this for. I'm broadcasting this from Philip's shed, by the way. He just shows me a bit of bread now and again for dinner, and I have to put a sign up outside the shed door that I'm okay every day. You know, I'm alive. And then he says, "Brad Dermot, here's a bit of bread for you." So, you know, Mrs. Brady, bless her, she gives me out dinners. Philip doesn't know, but she gives me out lovely dinners. And
that's what the dinner's gone for. No, I know.
Hey, you know. Anyway, Arsenal's women are beating Everton 2-1. Well, nearly finished. They're in VAR added time. Now, Philip, do you want to explain this to people? Because it's a bit complicated. You're the bank manager of your era, so you like saying no. You're in the bank that said no, where me and Brad were in the bank that like to say yes. Now, this is the contract thing, isn't it, Philip? How? Yeah. So, do you want to explain it?
Well, basically, Chelsea had this thing going until recently where they'd sign players on 8-year contracts, which means the value of the player will go down by 12.5 million a year. Say it was £100 million player, it would go down by 12.5 million a year. Now that's been vetoed now, and the thing is coming in. The transfer fees can only be amortized over 5 years. So let's take it from year one, right? Look at if you say this player is costing 100 million, right? Okay. Now, after year one, that value goes down to 80 million. After year 2, 60 million. After year 3, 40 million. After year 4, 20 million. So at the end of the 5-year contract, it's gone back to zero. That's the way they show the value of the players in the club, which means basically the asset's depreciating by a fifth every year. Okay. Now, you can see on the other side there, the last 20 million per year. So in other words, the end of year 5, the transfer fees wiped out completely, and the player's worth nothing in the books. Now, each club is allowed to lose on footballing activities only 35 million per year over 3 years, which means a total of 105 million. And it's worked out in a 3-year cycle. Now, Everton are claim to be in breach of that, right? Although Everton dispute that. They say they've only got, I think, 85 million they say they've lost. And the Football Association is claiming they've lost far more. So that's why there's an appeal going on against Everton because of the discrepancy, if you like, between the two calculations. Now, in a case like Tottenham, the income from the likes of the rock concerts is not counted. It's football only income, right? So they can listen to on the right hand side there. It says right on the left hand side, the first team and manager wages are included. The player amortization, that's what I've just described. Agents and intermediary costs and fees paid to pay off the likes of Mourinho. They're all included. How they calculate the squad cost ratio. So what they do is they divide the day-to-day income with incoming transfer player and manager fees and any other transfer income against what they've spent on the top part of that. So that's how they get that. Now, clubs can only lose 15 million of their own money across those 3 years. Now, where does the other 20 million come from? It means the owners or the managers or the investors have to put up the rest of the money, which is called secure funding. So they're essentially bankrolling the club to keep the club solvent, right? So it means that in these circumstances, the Premier League requires clubs to submit plans every year. Like they have to submit their accounts by the 31st of December each year for analysing. And that's how Everton have come a cropper again, based on their 22-23 accounts. Let me see if I missed anything else on that.
Do you want me to move to the next one, Philip?
Yeah, I want to move on, yeah. Okay, this is the PNF. This is PNF. This is what the FA are. This is the FA.
Can I just say very quickly, Philip? This is the Everton timeline from their appeal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, January 15. All charges have been confirmed. So we thought yesterday or a few days ago there might be some more clubs involved in this. It appears not. Well, why haven't they been announced yet?
Because they can't. I'll tell you afterwards why. There is
a reason why. It's just another Manchester City hearing. We know the date, but we're not telling you. Anyway, 15th of this January. All charges are confirmed. Clubs have 2 weeks to respond. Maybe that's why they have the 2 weeks to respond. So that means by the 29th of January, we should hear who it is. April the 5th, hearing must be completed. I suppose the hearings go on between now and the 5th of April. 12th of April, whoever's listening to the various hearings have to make their decision. And the clubs then have 7 days to appeal. So by the April the 19th, they've got to put their appeal in. The Premier Season League finishes on May the 19th, and the appeals must be concluded, which means the appeals go in by the 19th of April, and the appeals panel has until the 24th of May to either uphold the appeal or say that the punishment stands. Or sorry, uphold the punishment.
Which would be interesting if a team gets relegated because of the points deduction. And
this is why it has to be done by the 24th of May, because they have to get the league tables done or the fixtures done for the following season. It's a very tight timeline, but I'm sure the Everton thing is going on at the moment. I'm sure it's going on in the background now. But tell me, is it because of the 2 weeks to respond that it hasn't been made public who the other clubs are?
Yeah, what it is, I can't really say a lot, Philip, because as you well know, who we use.
We don't want to know the name of the clubs, but
I'm just saying. I just want to give why I can't say the clubs, because I've been agreed to an NDA and I'm waiting to get the go ahead. Look, there's a lot of appeals going in. There's a lot of accounts being looked at. There's a lot of clubs that haven't yet been charged, but are going to be charged. So this is a very complex, fluid situation that's happening at the moment, guys. Look, for the Everton thing, look, Philip, I sort of agree with what you're saying, but I said to you last night that Everton would rally 250 million over the line. There were 350, and then they took into account COVID, and which they can't now from next season, can't take that into an account. So they were well over the line. Everton,
they're claiming otherwise, though, aren't they? They're claiming otherwise.
Yeah, well, they're claiming they're trying to claim what he didn't take him for the new stadium. He didn't take him for other things which they can't bring in. If they start bringing that in, then Nottingham Forest. I mean, that's another. I think Forest are worse off than Everton, because they were 2 years within the championship.
Yeah,
And if
well,
they were
you're
within the
you're only allowed a lot less if you're in the championship.
yeah, but
Your
they
lot
would
loss
have,
is
they would have,
15
they would,
million, I think.
yeah, but they would have got done in the championship anyway, Philip. So
They wouldn't have done it all, you know, if Brennan Johnson had gone to Brentford in June. They would have got away with
no,
it.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was him because he stayed. That's how come Forest have now been caught. Look, it's going to rumble and rumble. I think this bottom date here, Philip, the 24th of May, a couple of weeks after, well, a week after the league finishes, I think that's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. Because if Everton lose their appeal and the points bring them down and say Luton stay up, will Everton then sue the Premier League and sue Luton? It's a very complex. It's going to roll and roll it, and I think the Premier League in itself has pushed themselves into a corner over this. I really do. I think it's a bad idea. The idea in principle is a good idea, but it's being executed wrongly, if you know what I mean. In my opinion.
And the bottom line of it is, where's Manchester City in all this?
Yeah. Now, this is the Everton thing here, Philip. You know, those two regulations which play a major part in the Premier League, the decision to hand down 10-point deduction to Everton when first sent the Premier League, their PSR calculations for the 21-22, they claimed their losses were allowable. Exclusion only amounted to 87.1 million. The authorities disagreed on what could be left out of the PSR and said Everton's losses had to amounted to 124.5 million, almost 20 million above the allowable total. That dispute looks to have plenty more legs in it when Everton appealing the decision in December, and the appeal board will be appointed to hear their case, though a date is yet to be set. So my question to you, Philip, with all of this, is FFP a system that is destined to fail? Or is it like VAR being run by incapable people to run the system?
I think it's been I'll tell you what, they will have the best forensic accountants on this job.
Yeah,
they have to have. They will have guys that know the way around the balance sheet on this. Picking out holes and picking out. So whatever I would say, and both sides will do this. I mean, Everton are going to be at it as well because they're going to want to prove their figures are right and the Premier League figures are wrong. So the system is probably a bit unfair to certain clubs, right? Especially ones that have come up from the Championship. But I think there's a huge discrepancy there in what Everton say what the losses were and what the PL or the Premier League say is, and it's going to be up to the accountants they employ to prove to the panel that one of them is right and the other is wrong. You know. And it's until that happens, we don't know what's in the balance sheet. We don't know what's been allowed for and what hasn't. So, but I think Everton will probably push it to the limit to get to this appeal. But then the problem arises; they could be hit with a further deduction for further breaches down the road. And what are they going to do? Are they going to appeal? Even if they're successful in one of the appeals, the second points deduction could be the one that relegates them. Yeah, 2 points are definitely going down.
But they could say, all right, we'll only do you 6 points. But when they get charged again, they're getting them 4 points back again. So, I mean, Brad, look, me and Philip have talked about this, haven't we, on the every day mostly this week about FOP, and we've tried to, can we make sense of it? You look at Chelsea, spent nearly $1 billion in the transfer market. You look at the likes of Man City. You look at the likes of probably Arsenal that can't buy anyone. Newcastle can't buy anyone. So my question, you asked this to Philip last night. As much as Daniel Levy is hated within the community and he'll never do right by people, I come from a generation of fans that nearly saw our club go out of existence. And I remember waking up as a teenager, do I have a football club to support in the morning? Which is a little bit different to you and Philip, who have been supporting them a lot longer, who's been through the relegations, coming back up. Do you know what I mean? Going through the rough times in the 70s and seeing look, I came along, I was 77, so I remember the 80s, but you remember the tough times in the 70s after Bill Nick left, struggling with relegation with Terry Neal, Keith Birkinshaw finally condemning us to the second division, but coming back. So do you feel do you feel that when you see Tottenham as they are now, to where Tottenham where they were, does Daniel Levy deserve credit? Also, do you just to add to the question? Does he deserve credit? But also, if he was a bit more honest with the fans, what he was doing, do you think he would have different relationship with them?
Yeah, I think he's. I think going on to that point, I think that he's not very transparent, and I think that's what does frustrate the supporters. I think from a financial point of view, with how the club's run, yeah, he's done a good job. You know, he's got he's got the income, lots of different income, the stadium, blah 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 blah. I think it all comes down to his dabblings in the football side of it, as regards to the actual playing of the football, which involves the buying and selling of players. And I think that to me has always been my criticism. I've never criticised him for how he's got how club to be financially stable, and I'm pretty confident that the FAP won't be knocking on our door anytime soon. But it's been the and again, I've never expected Tottenham to be bidding £150 million for Mbappe or whatever.
No,
it's been the small little bits that we haven't paid that we could have got decent players for, but we wouldn't pay that little extra bit of money. That's always has been my beef with Daniel Levy and the way they run the club. And at the moment we're doing well. We're buying players. We're looking good. I think he's got lucky with Postecoglou. I don't think that was done by I don't think he thought, this guy's good, I'll get him in. I think we basically got lucky there as we did with Pochettino, to be fair. But it's going in the right direction at the moment, but we still have to keep our powder dry because Postecoglou said it's going to take 3 transfer windows to start getting it right. So he's got to continue to back him and get the players that Postecoglou wants. And we've seen it before. He's back managers and then suddenly stopped. So I'm sort of keeping my powder dry on that. But again, it's like most things in this world. There's no nuance. That's my favourite. That's my word of the year, nuance. It's like you're either Levy out or pro Levy. What's in between? I'm in an area.
I got criticised the other day, Brad, didn't I, Philip? I got criticised for I was Levy out, and then I got criticised for having this opinion of staying in the middle, didn't I? And
well, I mean, that came from a person who would be, if Levy wrote him a check for £1 million, he still found fault with him. So I think there are some people that will never ever give up on Levy.
I mean, look, when it comes to, I think Trossard, now you could argue whether he would have been a decent player at Tottenham or not, or whether he's been successful at Arsenal or not. But the fact that he was put up for sale for 25 million and our first bid was 12, that's the joke side of it from my point of view.
But was that more him, or was that more the? I mean, Paratici has to take an awful lot of credit, Philip, hasn't he? He's reorganised the scouting network. He's reorganised how we do our business in the windows. So does he deserve an awful lot of credit?
Yeah, he does. Even though he's not full time now, he's only on a consultancy basis. But look, but if you notice, nearly all his transfers have come from Italy, where he knows the game like the back of his hand. He knows where to go for the players. Like, I mean, when we took in Vicario at the start of the season, a lot of Spurs fans were we should have gone for David Raya. I know we never heard of this bloke. Are they still saying that now? No. So we've got to give Paratici an awful lot of credit. He spotted a few gems. Like Debusin is another one that's come in under the radar with a lot of clubs. 21 years of age, absolute baller of prospect.
And that's to do, as you quite rightly say, Philip, it's to do with the scouting. Yeah, we've actually getting that right now. And we'll seem to be getting that right now. It's not any.
The days of Steve Hitchen are long gone. Thank God.
And I think that my main criticism of Levy, he seems to don't see it until the last moment, and then suddenly brings things in, and then suddenly realise, we got to do it this way now. And I don't know. Let's see how we go in the next couple of. I certainly from the financial fair play point of view and how the club is run financially, which may be a bit boring because we're not spending billions on great players, but I think the way the club's run financially is pretty steady, and I don't think we'll be in any trouble financial fair play. At least I hope not. I can't see it. I think that they. I mean, he's actually sort of said he's brought that into consideration when they've run the club with the wage bills. It comes down, is it like you're only supposed to spend 20% of your income on salaries, and that comes down or goes up or whatever it might be. You know, he's brought that into fruit. The only thing I worried about that was that we could be really, really careful for the next 4 or 5 years, and then suddenly we've just totally lost the other lot that aren't taking care of it, are miles ahead of us. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. But we seem to be doing it okay at the moment. And yeah, you know, credit where credit's due. It's you know, but as I say, you know, we're only one step away from, you know, not paying an extra $5 million for a player that could change our season. That's the thing that worries me.
Yeah, I think them days are long gone though. I really do. I really do feel like that. I think them days are long gone.
We're after taking 150 grand a week off the wage bill this week as well, with Perisic going back to Croatia.
I would love to know how much we spent between the summer and this window.
I'm sure it's out there.
Again, I think the scouts and Postecoglou are showing that it's not the money that you spend; it's the quality that you get in with that money. You know, so yeah, it's and we, you know, I think it's proved that you don't have to spend millions and millions and millions or billions of pounds to get a decent team together.
Right, a few scores.
Don't get me wrong, it helps.
Yeah,
but you know,
a few scores here, Brad. Sorry, Brad. We've got a few scores. Birmingham are winning. Brad's just collapsed in shock. Philip's now looking for the vodka bottle. Give it to me quick, because Birmingham are winning. They're beating Stoke 2-0. Morton are beating Montrose 2-0. Kidderminster have gone 3-2 up, Philip, against Aldershot. Another cracking game. We're not missing. Wasn't there a game last week we were doing that? It was, what did it ended up? 5-4 or something like that? Was it?
Yeah, it was 5 each it ended up. 5 each,
yeah. It was a cracking game. Well, that Kidderminster game in the non-league. I think they came from the non-league as well, Philip, that 5-4 game.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think who that was last week now.
Yeah.
It was,
and Patrick Thistle are 3-0 up against Ross County. So Stuart Banging. No, not Banging. Branning, not Banging. So anyone with a dirty mind, just go back into your bed. And Michael Miller, of course, best friends with Brad down here. Michael, of course, Brad has big. He's owning BSC Glasgow. Of course, he does. He's been sent off for drinking too much vodka. No, for foul play. And do you want to say that one's come up there, Philip?
Yeah, Joe, there's one slight error on this one, but I'll point it out. Is it time to bring Troy home to the lane? The boy is on fire. And it's actually Holland he's playing in, Jared, for Excelsior.
No, I meant on the score, Philip. Can you see it, Brad? That fella's name.
No, I can't. I don't have it on my screen. I have it on my phone here.
Foul play. Oh no, hang on.
No, it's the one above the foul play.
Oh yeah, Nikolai Todorov. Yeah, no, that's
it goes with our Russian theme for today's show. You know. Sorry, Brad. Sorry, Philip. Anyway.
Big Hans can work magic on him, as Troy was injured when Big Hans landed in the lane. Yeah, well, I mean, I think we had great hope for Troy Parrott there a couple of years ago, right? For those of you that might not know, Troy had extracurricular activities apart from football that's kind of dragged him down a little bit, but he seems to have got his act back together again now. And like I'd say that's his last chance to learn. If he can do very well for Excelsior in Holland, he might have a chance back at the lane, back at the Spurs ground.
Look, for me,
if not, I think he'd be moved on in the summer.
Yeah,
you know?
I think for me, Philip, I have to disagree with you. I think his time has come. It's gone. I think for me personally,
I'll give him this season down to prove himself. He scores a lot of goals.
Philip,
it's interesting.
You could give Troy Parrott all the time in the world, but he's had his chance, and I feel
not under Ange Postecoglou.
Philip, how many managers can you give? It's like saying Don Bele, give him a chance because Ange is in.
No. I'm giving him every chance to him because the guy is a good talent. He just hasn't. He's been injured at times in his career that hasn't helped him. His other things going on which didn't help him either. But I would say if he does well this season in Holland, I think Ange will give him another chance. If he doesn't do well, he'll be moved out.
Did he go on loan the same? Did he go on loan the same time as Dane Scarlett went on loan?
Yeah.
It's interesting that obviously Ange puts a big thing on attitude and the actual player themselves. It's interesting that he sent Jed Spence out on loan. He sent Scarlett out on loan. Reguilon went out on loan. Troy Parrott went on loan. Reguilon's come back and has gone straight to Brentford. Yeah. And the same with Jed Spence. Come back from Leeds, gone straight to Genoa. So I'm just wondering whether And I hope for the guy's career, I hope he becomes a really good player. Of course I do, but maybe
He's Irish. I want him to do well, but
yeah. But I think when he comes back to Tottenham, I think he might go out again. I get that impression anyway, but I could be totally wrong, obviously.
I'm sorry, Philip. I agree with you most times when we speak about Irish players. You know that, and you and me are the biggest people for promoting our players in the league. You know that, Philip. But I disagree with you on Troy Parrott. For me,
we'll see who's right.
No, it's not a case who's right, Philip. It's a case of
it is really. I'm saying one thing, you're saying the others. Whoever.
The point I'm making is, Philip. Do you know we had this discussion over Stephen Kenny, and I was proven right over Stephen Kenny. So Troy Parrott, for me, had his chance, Philip. Right. He's gone to right. Could it be the league that's suiting him? Does the English game don't suit him? Could the Dutch league be suiting him better?
I don't know.
Do you know the point?
You're writing him off at 21 years of age.
He's not 21 years of age.
No, I don't think anyone's writing
Troy
Parrott off. He could be becoming a really, really decent player. I just don't think he'll be at Tottenham.
Let's wait and see what happens. Listen, I'm going to leave the decision on that up down to Postecoglou. He knows.
Yeah, but no, that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that, Philip. It's interesting that the two players that had so-called problems, Jed Spence and Reguilon, have been shipped out straight away. So I just wonder if Troy Parrott has had these problems, whether that'll be the same thing with him as well. I think
Troy Parrott would have come back if he hadn't been getting regular game time. That he's getting regular game time. There's no reason to bring him back. He's on a season-long loan, so no reason to bring him back. Reguilon is only ever going to be a half a season loan with United, and Scarlett Scarlett's been brought back, I think, because with that we need that type of player in the squad at the moment.
Yeah. Now, look, Philip. Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought he was 22, but he's the day before my birthday on the 4th of February. Right, he's 6'1". Yeah. Now, at the moment, right, he's been at Tottenham since 2019. 2 appearances, no goals. He was at loan at Millwall, 11 appearances, no goals. He then went to Ipswich on loan, 18 appearances, 2 goals. He then went to MK Dons on loan, 41 appearances, 8 goals. He's had 32 appearances at Preston North End, 3 goals. He's got a better goal ratio in Holland than he has with any of the English clubs. Now,
that's
for Ireland,
that's why they've kept him on the loan. He's not coming back on the loan when he's doing okay,
Yeah, and then for Ireland, he's played for the under-17s, 4 goals and 11 appearances. For the under-19s, he had 4 goals in 3 appearances. For the under-21s, 4 goals in 5 appearances, and he scored 4 goals for the national side on only 21 appearances.
I've just seen Simon Cohen's comment.
What's that?
John Parrott and the snooker players is better than Troy at football.
Look, I really hope.
I'm not going to win this argument, but we'll see at the end of the season who's right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just that. Look, I feel, Philip, right. A lot of these younger players, I feel, there was something at Tottenham that was holding them back. That maybe be different under Ange with the players that are coming through now, Philip. But do you feel that these younger players were getting too much money? Just the likes of Troy Parrott, the likes of them players that they think, we don't have to try as hard because I'm getting, say, 15 grand a week or 20 grand or do you know what I mean? 10 grand a week. Do you feel that they should be putting lower money so that it keeps them hungry to improve themselves to strive to do better? Right. If I reach 30 goals this season, my reward is an extra 500 quid on my wages.
No.
Do you know what I'm getting?
Yeah, but I don't agree with it. Those players, they're professionals. They've got hunger. They want to do what they want to do. They don't want to be earning 15 grand a week. They want to earn 100 grand a week. That's what they're aiming at. So put them in 5 or 6 grand a week, and they're gonna play the same whether they're earning 5 or 6 grand or 15. They want to be earning the big money, and that's what their performances should. In most cases, their professional pride should make them try to achieve a much higher salary.
Yeah, but you look at
going to do them any good,
Yeah, you look at the class in '92. Fergie had. This is
34. You can't compare the money they were on.
No, right, Philip. Just let me make my point. The Fergie in '92, right? When he brought them in, he had them all on the same money, low wages, and it was all done by if you do well in the first team, you would then get a proper wage like the rest of the first team. Do you feel that I say it before? A lot of these young players are on too much money, Philip. 17, 18-year-olds are on 10 grand a week. I mean, that wouldn't that if you were 18 and 19 now, Philip, on 10 grand a week, would you feel that would go to your head? Do you feel it goes to some players' heads very quickly? We know the problems Troy Parrott's faced in Ireland with he's been connected.
That was nothing to do with his wages, Dermot. That was
no, but the point is, it has in a way, Philip, because he was on big money and he was sort of a celebrity. Does that also attract its own dangers as well? That can take your eye off the ball if you're trying to make it.
Dele Alli's a prime case. Hangers on ruining his career. Troy Parrott's been through that. He can come out the other side of it, right? So I think let's give him a chance. I want him to do well. If I had to take a bet on it, I'd say he won't be playing for Tottenham anymore. But he's got to be given the chance this season to see what he's done. Now, as regarding young fellas 17 and 18 on 10 grand a week, my blame for that is agents. It's the agents who got those false figures up there for young fellas. They go to the club with the next best thing. It's right. I've got a real good talent here now, but I want 20 grand a week. Some clubs, okay, fair enough, we'll give it to him. He mightn't be worth half that, but the agents keep up their false wage structure. Until they do it properly, that's going to keep going.
I just hope that we're all going to see this team that's developing, because we've got Ashley Phillips playing for Plymouth, who apparently is doing pretty well. And the really great news I thought this week, at first I thought he's come back to play for Tottenham, but it was the fact that Alfie Devine came back from Port Vale and has immediately gone from League One. Are they League One, Port Vale?
League One to Championship.
Yeah, and has immediately gone to Plymouth for the rest of the season. So I think that looks that he might be a player that in seasons to come will be in the Tottenham squad.
Alfie Devine will. He will.
I agree with you on that.
For a great future ahead of that young man. I watched an interview with him as well. I watched an interview with him that Port Vale did at the end of his loan.
Saw that, yeah.
Such a level-headed young lad. He really is.
Yeah, exactly. And
look, just a Hartlepool have gone 1-0 up against Ebbsfleet. Coventry are 2-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday. United are 1-0 up against County Hearts in the Scottish Cup 4th round. And Motherwell are 2-1 up against Alloa in the Scottish Cup 4th round. Just very quickly, League One, Bristol Rovers 1, Blackpool 2. League Two, we've got AFC Wimbledon, Crawley was postponed. So was Bradford and Doncaster have been postponed. Notts County, Stockport, Swindon, Tranmere also postponed. Loads of games postponed in the National League as well, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games postponed because of weather. Sports Talk Show got an assist on Plymouth debut.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Did Alfie Devine? He did. He did. And big up to Shawnee as well. Big up, Shawnee. Hope you're doing well, sir. Look, Philip. Look, me love getting into an odd debate now and again. And we do. Me and Philip, when we get into a debate, I have my corner. And me and Philip has his corner, don't we? And we do debate it like they would do in the Doyle. I mean, Philip's a bit like, I don't know. Philip's a bit like the Taoiseach. Right, like Prime Minister, right? He's got that sort of authority about him. He demands respect of his fellow peers, right? And he does get it. That's why he's the Godfather, and he's like the Taoiseach. I'm a bit like Sinn Féin. I'm the rebel, sort of coming here, sort of like a little startup. Is that what you call it, Philip? A little startup?
No, a little upstart.
Yeah, that's it. Upstart. That's it. Bit like Jimmy Tarmac.
It's just that.
It will be upstart.
Yeah. It's a bit like me saying the other day, and I remember Jimmy Tarmac. I'm playing at Wembley. It's probably Tarmac in the pitch. Anyway, so don't ever think me and Philip. It's all good natured when we debate, isn't it, Philip Bradley?
Oh yeah. We just kill each other off screen afterwards,
Yeah. Philip actually sends me to the dungeon, and Brad comes down with the odd dinner for me now and again. Here at THFC Till I Die Towers. Brad is actually on the top floor. Brad's a bit like what's his name? Who was the fella in the 70s, guys? In Las Vegas, was never seen, but what was his name?
Las Vegas.
He was in the James Bond film Diamonds Are Forever. Harry Hughes.
He owned the casino.
Harry Hughes. Yeah. Brad's Harry Hughes. You only see Brad once a week. maybe also on Dave's fan show. I'm looking forward to meeting up here on the 10th of February, by the way, Brad.
Yeah, no, we definitely
We'll have a pint that
sort
day.
something out for that. Definitely. Hopefully, still be bloody cold, but
as Philip is holding the fort for me here, covering the game, Mr. Brady.
Yeah.
It's actually quite interesting. Sky Sports seems to have a majority of women reporting on the games.
Yeah,
yeah,
which is nice to see. No offense, though. It's nice to see.
Some of them are pretty gross, though. God almighty.
Ed said, I'm the guy who believes if voting made a difference, we wouldn't be allowed to do it. That's so true.
Well,
Good afternoon, Mick. Hope you and your missus are doing okay and everything is fine. So I hope you're doing all right. He says, Dermot, Philip, Brad just got home from work. Oh, bless you, man. Where do you want to go next, guys? Rotherham were 1-0 up against Middlesbrough, which is a bit of a shock. Crewe were 2-1 up against Borough. Inverness City Thistle, which is their full name, have gone 2-0 up against Brad Scarlet Casino Glasgow, as Brad's now just taken over that team.
Some new photographs of me as well.
Have you?
If anyone's really interested.
Yeah, go on, put them up there, Brad. God, look at him. Look at that fella.
That's with my
what a fine hair you got, Brad.
Yeah, that's my my girlfriend did that for me at the time. She decided that she wanted me more blonde. So yeah.
What worries me, Brad, right? There's always alcohol in all the
jam
pictures.
shot on men as well. Yeah.
God, what a good-looking man he was back in the day, Philip.
Honest to God, yeah.
And you don't look 64. I swear to God.
Oh, I'm 63. That's why.
When you're 65, I will send you the Sergeant Pep when I'm. Oh, is it 64? When
64,
I'm 64,
yeah,
that's it.
Birthday,
when your birthday is, Brad, I will send you that just as a little joke.
My sister's 70 actually. Yeah. When she turned 70, I said, "Oh, yeah, have a happy 70th. The 70s were a good period, sort of thing." So. I think we're lucky. I'm lucky that I've grown up, especially music-wise. You know, I've seen every single style you can imagine since the 60s through to. Well, I lost track in about 2000. I think it's this century's not been good for me.
Now, I was going to ask, where were you the day Elvis died?
I was actually in my house. I was in Australia. I would have been I would have just turned 17, and I might have been playing Subbuteo or something, which seems a little bit immature of me with a 17-year-old. And I had the radio on, and the radio's a thing that we listen to, young kids that plays music and things. I had the radio on in the background, and it was about lunchtime, and they announced that Elvis Presley had died. So,
where were you, Philip? Where were you today?
Elvis Presley died the same day as Bing Crosby died. That's one for the older ones. The two of them died the same day. Yeah. I don't know. I remember I think I was home at my parents' house just watching the news, and it came up on 9 o'clock news. It came out Elvis Presley just died. And it was a bit of a culture, a bit of a mega shock because Elvis was the king, you know. And then as the read the details of his death came out, a bit more shocking, you know, the way he was found and everything. So
it's sad that I saw. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I wasn't a huge fan. I was I'm from the punk generation, effectively. So it's like, you know, I wrote a song about mourning against Elvis fans and, you know, sort of thing. But in later years, when I come to see, you know, what he did and how they treated him, and, you know, and Colonel Tom Parker was a bit of a, well, I won't say what he was, but yeah, and how he, you know, they just basically drove him to the limit, really.
What Brad is trying to say, he was a wanker. So excuse my language.
Well, a bit stronger than that, to be fair. But and it's good to see people in the chat who are older than me. Big up, lads.
66 for Simon, 66 for Mark, Mick. Wow. A bit before my time. Look, I was 6 months old when he died. I was on my mum's knee crying. So I was only a baby, but apparently. But you look at him dying, right? And you look at Michael Jackson, and you look at Prince. You look at who was the fella that went out with Paula Yates? What was his name?
Yeah, Mick Hutchins from
Mick Hutchinson.
Hutchinson. The Australian.
Loose and orange. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah.
George Michael as well, another one.
Yeah. Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. I mean, I was
all the younger
devastated
kids are putting their ages in now.
Yeah. I was devastated when Freddie Mercury died. Absolutely devastated. I was a massive Queen fan.
I think
I was more upset actually when David Bowie passed. That upset me the most but I was a massive Bowie fan.
Well, David Bowie passed away in the same year my father did. So, at the same year that Donald Trump got elected and we had Brexit. So, I think that happened after my dad and David Bowie passed away. So, make of that what you will.
We've got Simon. I was all shook up when Elvis died. Yeah. How big of an influence do you think he was on music? Do you think, guys?
He's a very good musician. I've seen it. If you watch the, I haven't seen all of it. If you watch the '69 Elvis special, Comet special, and he plays his guitar, he was a very good guitarist. He's a very underrated guitarist. I think he was. And I have to say this. I had this conversation last night because a couple of the people in the karaoke booth were doing Elvis songs. Actually, I did one as well. We did I Can Dream. Yeah. I've been to Graceland. We went to Graceland back in 1993, I think, as part of a tour we was on. And very interesting place to go. Although I have to say it was quite funny that they literally had a guide for every part of it. So you literally get to, this is Elvis's front door, and then you go in and be someone else in there. This is Elvis's lounge. It's hilarious in that respect. But very
Philip,
interesting.
I know you have to pop off.
Yeah, fortunately, no. I've got one daughter's car is in being serviced, and I have to go and collect it or bring it over to collect it. So by 5 o'clock, so I better head off. Sorry, I didn't realize I had to do this. It was something that's jumped on me. So
no, what happened was Mrs. Brady gave him a note saying if you don't come up within 5 minutes, you're in the dungeon.
Well, that's true, but I didn't like to say.
Now we've got a load of things in the chat about people that have died. Actually, now it's Stuart Amundsen, big country, Listen,
I enjoyed that program. Very good, good chat.
Yeah, listen. When are we on again, Philip? Are we on tomorrow for the watch along?
I don't know if I'm around, Dermot. I'll know later on. I'll let you know. Okay, I'll know later on.
Well, listen, we have to have a meeting later anyway about next week and what we're doing and what we're not doing, and that. So
I'll give you a shout later on. Okay, I'll give you a shout later on.
Okay, then speak to you later.
Yeah, good chat to you again. Take care, mate.
See you. Bye. As Mr. Brady now disappears off to find the pot of gold that was left for him by something. Now, Dragon D Nuts, my young lad, is a massive Lemmy fan for Motorhead. Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, I don't. I must admit, I'm not a Motorhead fan. Motorhead fan. I like songs like Ace of Spades and that sort of stuff. But sort of very interesting documentary with him. He's into military memorabilia, or was into military.
He was. He apparently he was into Nazi stuff as well. He had all different types of.
Yeah, I think he said it purely from a. And I'm not judging him either way. No, purely from how they looked, smart.
That was it. Yeah. Loved his Jack Daniels as well, apparently.
Oh, Simon Cohen! If you met my late father, you get on. He is a massive Burt Baccarat fan. Yeah.
So the older people I'm jealous of yous who have seen Spurs win stuff in Europe.
Yeah.
Well,
although this for
hang
all
on.
people out there,
you've watched 3 European wins, if I'm right.
I've never. Okay, let me go through this. 1972, I'm living in England, UEFA Cup.
Yeah,
we were going to watch the AC Milan semi-final where Steve Perryman famously scored 2 goals. Couldn't get in; it was sold out. Couldn't go. And same with the final. But in those days, no live football on TV. I had to watch the highlights. We're trying to ignore the score. Watch the highlights on Sports Night with Coleman or whatever it was. Saw Spurs win 2-1 at Wolves, and then the same thing with the home leg. Had to wait until the evening to watch the highlights. And in 1984, when we got to the UEFA, by that time I'm living in Australia again. No internet, nothing like that on. And I was around my girlfriend's house. I was in the spare room, and I just woke up, put the radio on, and they said Spurs won the UEFA Cup. So yeah, with Tony Parks making that penalty. So
you've lived through 3 Cup wins. No.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I was alive during the Cup Winners' Cup win, but I wasn't, old enough to appreciate football.
So you're around when we won the UEFA Cup in '72. You were there when we reached the final in '74 when
that's first arrived in Australia then. So again, had no real access to info. I think my mate in English sent me all the paper clippings and that sort of thing, and that was the first final we ever lost.
We've got look, it will happen again. It really will. Let me turn that off. We've got Gerard O'Connor, Stuart Adamson, Big Country. We've got Dragody Knots, Beethoven. That was a rough day. Yeah, but when Beethoven died, that was a really rough day. That's why those retro tours are very risky. You never know what some of these bands start losing. Maybe that's so true. We've got Early Doors Football TV. Good afternoon, Dermot and Philip. Hope you do both well. I am grand. I hope you're grand as well. Hang on. Let's see now. What's Philip sending me? If I bring these up, Philip, I'll bring you up a comment here. Just that one for a minute.
Yeah. I believe that as well. Yeah, he massive Scotch whiskey, wasn't it? I think a fan of. Yeah, that's it. Jack and Coke. Yeah,
Jack and Coke. Yeah.
No, he's certainly a presence. But I didn't really know a lot about him apart from Lemmy and Motorhead. And when I saw that documentary, which was obviously filmed before his death, Gerard
O'Connor. Yeah, Black. He was killed in Cork, the capital of. No. Hang on a minute here. Hang on one doty here. Don't start with this Republican Cork's its own country stuff. Right? Dublin is the capital of Ireland. Just because we've got me and Philip have merged counties, we're now called Wexstrom, doesn't mean that Cork has to come back and fight. We're the biggest county in Ireland. Wexford and Leitrim, we're Wexstrom, right? We're taking over Kildare. So, Dave, if you're watching, me and Philip are the #1 Spurs fans in Ireland because we've got a bigger county than you. All right. Just because you can go with Dublin now doesn't mean we're going to have to. There's a fight between me and between Ireland. We're trying to get the biggest county. Me and Philip at the moment have the biggest county. But apparently, anyway, Cork think they're their own republic anyway. Cork want to have their own country and prime minister and president.
Is Murphy's from Cork?
Murphy's. I think Murphy's from most of Ireland. To be fair,
no. I'm talking about the beer because is it Guinness from Dublin and Murphy's from Cork?
Dublin. I think Murphy's are from Cork. I need to double check that.
Yeah, I do actually like Murphy's. I have to say.
Yeah. He was killed in the Cork. I'm going to skip the capital of Ireland. Sorry, Gerard. I am joking, by the way. That's a lovely song. Wonderful Life. Died in a car accident. Yeah, that's so true. What else have we got here now? We have
tequila is in.
Oh, tequila. Where is tequila? Lemmy was great with great mates with fellow Thin Lizzy. Yeah, he was.
Gerard, I mean, look, that's one of the greatest songs. One of the greatest songs ever. The boys are back in town for painting a picture, for telling a story.
Yeah,
it's just a classic song.
Neil says I used to see him when I go to shows. The best encounter we had was with David Lee Roth. Passed out in his mind, tried parking his bike. Pissed out of his mind, tried parking his bike, which kept falling down. He came up to us and started chatting to us about our scooters and the mods, which he was very knowledgeable about. Wow. Big up Tequila, big up Brad and Dermo House Tricks. Oh, we're grand, all right, Tequila. How are you? The guy who Spurs are linked with, who scored for Norwich again. Yeah. John Rowe, 71 minutes for Norwich. They've gone 2-1 up against West Brom. Brad. Forest Green have equalised against Gillingham. Callum Jones and Ayr United are 2-0 up against County Hearts. Outcome Rose and Inverness City Thistle are 3-0 up against Broomhill. Now, I thought they were playing Glasgow, but Stanley's changed to Broomhill. Adam Brooks has got their third goal. So, look, it's been quite interesting. Has it felt with no Premier League football today, Brad? Has it felt weird?
Well, you can tell by the fact that I'm talking about music most of the time and the Berlin Wall and Russia that it's sort of I haven't got a lot of interest in the lower leagues.
Oh well. But anyway, there's Paul Merson again talking about how he's going to help Ivan Toney into betting on today's game. Who's making his comeback today as captain for Brentford? Brad, sorry.
Is he captain?
He's captain. What do you think is going to happen with Ivan Toney? Do you think he'll be at Brentford by the end of the window?
Yeah, I think he'll go in the summer.
Where do you think he'll go?
Probably Arsenal. They need a striker.
Don't give them.
He's going on about wanting to go for a team in red.
Yeah.
So sort of, sounds it sort of makes sense to me. Not that I like it, but I think it'll be at Arsenal.
Yeah, Wrexham are still 1-0 down to Newport. Wow.
Ooh.
Now, Kidderminster 4, Aldershot 2, Gold Onamoto has scored after 7. It sounds like a Nintendo employer or a moto. 78 minutes.
That's great, isn't it? Gold Onamoto. Yeah, brilliant.
Nothing wrong. We were doing a watch along here, Brad, and it was so boring. Me, Tequila, which I will send you a Facebook, an Xbox request today, Tequila. Sorry. Tequila, Carl, a few of us were talking about computer games and PCs and Xboxes and PS5s and that. And something I think you should get into, Brad. You should go and buy yourself a console and sit there, right, and just...
Listen. I worked for Sega for 10 years. If I haven't got computer games then, I'm never going to get into them now.
I was very late getting into... I used to play them as a kid, but I didn't get back into gaming until I was in my 30s.
Yeah, I guess it's... I won't say finding the time, because I do have a bit of spare time, but I just can't be asked a lot of the time. There are other things I need to do. I'm very much... I do try and absorb knowledge for all various things. So I tend to... would rather watch a documentary on something historical than sort of play an Xbox for an hour. That's just how I am, I guess. So,
right, Sega. Question for you: what games did you work on that we've probably played that Brad had his input on? What games?
Look, I have to say, sorry to disappoint anyone, but I was actually working in the finance department as the accounts payable supervisor, But I did actually sit with the sales team and got involved in, well, not involved, was very much interested in how they market stuff and that. And I knew some of the developers. We had a place down in, not Hornsey, down south somewhere. Working with the sales guys was very interesting where they a Football Manager was the big game at Sega. Yeah. That was a big one. So everyone was behind that. I know the guy, Miles Jacobson, one of the guys, it was him and a couple of twin brothers that created it many years ago, basically on a spreadsheet. So, I knew Miles and that sort of with Football Manager. So I was very much, when they used to release Football Manager, that sort of thing. I knew the guy who used to do a lot of the designs on that sort of stuff. And interesting to note, they did a World Cup. It wasn't a World Cup edition of Football Manager. It's just a different cover when the World Cup was on. And it was the one in Brazil, I think. And they had a Brazilian player on the front in the Brazilian shirt, the yellow top. Yeah. And apparently they had to use a different shade of yellow because the yellow that is in the Brazilian top is copyrighted.
Really?
So they had to use a different shade of yellow.
Here's a fact which is absolutely useless. Did you know Brazil will never wear a white top?
Yeah, because they got beaten, didn't they, in the World Cup? That's why they got beaten in one of the World Cups.
That is the most useless bit of information, but it's true.
Yeah.
They actually wasn't it? They put it out to the country to pick their national team shirt. And you got
I'm going to say Sega was mainly when I was there was mainly into strategy games and that sort of. They weren't really into the shoot 'em up sort of games. It was mainly the strategy
two lads that did GoldenEye. The original GoldenEye and the N64, they actually did that in their dining room. They actually designed that game. It's quite on. I mean, I watch a lot of videos on YouTube about games going through the whole history. And it was like watching the Batman games from how they started when I was a kid to now. I mean, I love my Batman games. Absolutely adore the Arkham series. And it's taken me 6 years to complete Arkham Knight. And I still can't complete it because there's so many side missions and you have to go. It's just, I love gaming. I absolutely adore gaming.
I didn't get involved in how you played it, but I found the actual marketing side of it and that side very, very interesting. For instance, like when you have when you see a poster of the game in the games shop, obviously you pay more money to have it at the front than at the back. And what the sales team used to go, they used to actually go on the day out and they literally go around all the stores and that, even the London Underground where they got posters to make sure that the posters in the proper places. But the sales director, he liked a beer. So it would be like 2 o'clock, guys, right, pub sort of thing. They'd be off down the pub sort of thing. So it was very, it's a great culture there. Absolutely brilliant culture.
Did you have a big did you have a big thing of statue of Sonic the Hedgehog when you walked in?
I met Sonic. Yeah.
Did
met
you?
Sonic many
What's he
times.
like?
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
Sonic like?
He's all right. He's okay.
He's doing well for his age, Sonic. He's looking good for being 100.
Yeah, he scared one of the kids once. This one of the guys brought his little young I think it's a young daughter, and he goes, "Oh look, there's Sonic." He went,
Tequila's asking, did you cover Alien Isolation?
Yeah, well, I not personally cover it, but I remember when that came out. And I'll tell you what, we used to have the place where they have not the BAFTAs, but I think the BAFTA headquarters in central London used to have the end of year financial year thing. We'd all go down there, and they all this big display, and then you free food and drink sort of thing. And they actually showed the trailer for Alien Isolation. It was just about to be released. They showed the trailer, and they had all the lights down and on the big screen, and like being in a big cinema. And it's like watching a horror movie. You seriously thought they think, "Oh, gee, it was amazing." Yeah.
Was there really that much? I mean, I've watched documentaries in Nintendo and Sonic really at each other back in the day in the 80s. Was there really that? Is it really that competitive? I know you worked in sales, but was it really that competitive in that sort of arena? Just very quickly, sorry, Brad. Motherwell have gone 3-1 once again. Our crew have gone 3-1 once again. Borough.
Well, QPR are 2-0 up against Millwall.
Well, we all know that pub Millwall going into will not be there after the game.
I think with Sega, they if I could be Sega at the time, I know it used to be Sega and Nintendo used to be the big rivals back in the day. I think when I was working at Sega, I think they're very much. I'm not being nasty. Probably more of a championship side than a Premiership side. But they used to be very interested with that sort of stuff and how they used to do things and used to be there when the game would come out and get like the various reviews and the meta score, and they all come to meta score. And I remember when the one that was the big one that went down, it took 5 years to make, was not Alien Isolation, the one before that. I can't remember what it's called. They tend to forget about that one sort of thing. But no, they did very well. Football Manager would always be top of the charts when it got released. First week, always go straight in at number 1 first week in. And they used to have Football Manager used to sponsor the countdown clock on transfer window day on Sky. On deadline day.
I love playing Football Manager. I just wish one thing that gets me a Football Manager is I just wish they would make their graphics when the games are happening, playing a bit better than they do. But look, I can actually remember being a kid and going into a pub in Ireland, right? And there used to be a table. And there used to be it used to be a normal table with a glass sort of over the top, and there used to be a console within the table. And he used to either have Pac-Man, or what was the other one? Do you remember the other one where you were a ship and you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of barriers you can hide behind?
Oh, sort of.
Space Invaders.
Yeah.
And then ping pong. I remember my first game I got on my Commodore 16 I got as a kid was ping pong.
Well, they with Football Manager, they really, there's a lot of research went into it. They tried to make it as realistic as they possibly could. They had people all around the world that used to basically watch the various leagues, and that's when you get the player ratings. They literally used to scout players. So it'd be people that had the knowledge of football. I used to pay them, these people all around the world. So they had every single league that's covered. The only one that we didn't get until later was the Bundesliga, and that's all to do with copyrights. But they had all these people going for any league you can possibly think of and rating the players, so that when you go into Football Manager and you want to sign this player from, I don't know, Bikini Faso or whatever, you'd know exactly how good this player was and how he was rated. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting place to work, I have to say. But yeah, the research I did on Football Manager, it's, in fact, a friend of mine in Australia said he thought it got too realistic. It was too complicated in the end. But they brought a lot of things into that. Yeah. But no, it was great. It's great work in there. And you're right. I was looking at Tequila. They were making consoles that was back in the day. That was back in probably early 2000, 2001, 2002. And I did actually find a picture. Sega did actually were shirt sponsors of one of the Tottenham under 18 teams.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, because they couldn't. That was when we were sponsored by Holston, because they couldn't put a beer sponsor on
right.
It was underage. So yeah, so they were sponsored by Sega.
Any big results that have surprised you today, Philip? Brad?
QPR beating Millwall, I think.
Yeah,
because they've been really rubbish lately. That'll please my little mate Stuart. I'm probably going to go there. I think. Yeah, that's a very surprising result.
Neil says the metal handheads were huge, but the football game, that was a bunch of American football figures, which felt ball, which ran off electricity vibrating the field, so it felt like you were playing. Wow.
Anyone our age remember Escalado, the horse racing game?
Was that on? It was like, was that a bit? I think I remember it.
You had the little
were they in sticks?
Yeah, you had little horses that are made out, I don't know, of China or whatever.
Yeah,
and you had a little green strip, and he rotated it. It basically shook the thing, and they went along sort of it. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, right, we had this football game, and it was like it was built like a football stadium. It was red and blue, because I think Liverpool and Everton were the most popular teams at the time, so it was red and blue. And used to turn the knobs. I decided used to run by batteries, turn the knobs to play football. So it was like an updated version of Subbuteo. But Scale Electric for me. For me as a kid.
Escalado, and I used to have Totopoli, which is a horse racing version of Monopoly. So and you had two sides to you had like the board. You had one side where you train the horses and got points and that. Then you had the other side where you actually put bets on them and run the race. And I always remember literally for like a young kid like myself, about 2 goes before you got to win the race. I think burst blood vessel, horse out of race, which to me is like an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old would say like, oh, burst blood vessel.
We've got a few full times coming in. United have beaten Celtic Hearts 3-0. We've got Montreux have beaten Morton have beaten Montrose 2-0. Inverness Sissel have beaten Bromhill 4-0. Was Inverness playing Glasgow? I wonder who won that game. Motherwell have beaten Alloa 3-1, so Motherwell are into the 5th round of the Scottish Cup. They always seem to be around ahead of us in Scotland, don't they?
Yeah. Something I haven't seen. I might have to check my phone. I haven't seen the Oldham result.
No. Neil says I was a tester for Sizzler electric racing cars. Wow. Ed, I've always had a soft spot for QPR. If I wasn't a Spurs fan, I would have been a QPR fan. And Neil Shafton says cars were like Hot Wheels, which had little engines.
Oh, Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember Hot Wheels.
I'll tell you that there used to be another version of that by a company called Lesney, who used to make the cars. And somehow my parents knew the guy that worked there, and he literally gave me a complete Hot Wheels set. All the track, the cars and everything. Yeah, because look, you have this sort of thing. Like, wow.
Can't wait to get home and play that.
Oh, yeah.
He's parted. Peterhead have just equalised, Brad, in the 94th minute against E5. Hibernian have won 1-0 against 4-5. Cambridge United 0. Exeter 0. Cambridge United 0. Airdrie have beaten St Johnstone 1-0. East 5 and Peterhead are now, that's 2-2. That's a full-time score. Nat Winterburn has been sent off in injury time for foul play for Stenhouse Muir.
It's a great name, isn't it? I love that name.
Yeah, it is. Karma has scored for Portsmouth on the 25th minute, so that game should be near enough its conclusion. Now that, a Plymouth win.
3-1, yeah. And I hope my mate's not up in Australia waiting for the old Eastleigh versus Oldham result, because apparently the game was postponed. So,
Bonnie Rig Rose has beaten Furcock.
Wow,
2-1.
Yeah, get on the Bonnie Rig.
Yeah, that of course one of our teams we follow, of course, on this channel. It's Brad's second favourite team, by the way. Leighton Orient have beaten Bolton 1-0. That's Leighton. Lincoln 0-0 against Derby. Peterborough 2, Shrewsbury 1. There's a lot of games finishing, Brad. So tell you what, Brad, we're ended off there because I've got to do a few things. So I'll tell you what, do you want to plug your channel, sir? I'll put you on the big screen.
Just quickly, Alfie Devine played until the 77th minute and got an assist.
There you go. Well, there you go, Brad.
Yep.
Yes. Hang on, Brad. Hang on, Brad. Hang on, Brad. Let me get this right now. Hang on. There we go.
Yes. If you like a bit of music, if you like to see a guy struggling to write and play music, then Blue Sofa Songs is your channel to have a look. There's approximately 45 songs on there, and it all goes back from me just playing with my guitar plugged in and a camera phone to actually using DAW software and all that sort of stuff to actually record various tracks. And I've got now bass and keyboards and drum loops, that sort of thing, and the occasional nutty video I put in there. But everything's all written and played by myself. The lyrics are mine. There's a lot of lyrics on mainly serious subjects, but some on fun subjects. A bit of politics in there, which you may or may not agree, but that's fair enough. And Blue Sofa Songs. Please go over there, click like, subscribe, view, anything you can possibly do, and share as well. Leave a comment, all that sort of wonderful stuff. And thanks to Tequila 316 for actually putting the site in earlier as well. So I really appreciate that. At the moment, there's no new songs. I'm working on a song at the moment. Probably I'm sort of taking a little bit of time off because doing one song every month was quite involved. So I'm going to do one at the end of February. But I'm actually writing it now as we speak. So hopefully, as every song I write every song to be the best song I've written. It doesn't normally work out that way, but that's how I approach writing a song. So we'll see what happens. And you can probably tell my influences.
We all know.
Yeah,
we all know Brad's big influence is.
I'm sure some people in the chat know my influences as well. We're probably same era.
Yeah, I mean, Brad is a massive influence of Bob the Builder. Who else can we know? The Chicken Song, and the what other song now? And the Wombles. They were his bigger influence. I mean, Brad at the moment his new song is going to be called Dermot is a Womble, Philip is a Womble, I'm a Womble, but Daniel Levy is a Tromble. So there you go. That is his new song. So look, please everyone get over to Brad. It's a great channel. He does great music.
Yeah. Cheers,
Brad, also, when you do a song, send it to me, and what I'll do is I'll download it onto our channel, and I'll put it up on our channel.
Yeah,
as well,
nice one. Yeah, nice one.
As a little way of getting you out there. So please, everyone go over to Brad's. Thank you for everyone. I'm sorry I was late today. I was running late, so thank you to Philip for doing that. Now we may be on tomorrow. Just a bit of breaking news on Trippier. Newcastle have no interest in selling Kieran Trippier to Bayern Munich after Bundesliga club make approach for England fullback. So at the moment, Newcastle have no interest in selling Kieran. That's what I've been told in the last few seconds. Again, it's a great. I love this show. It goes any which way, by the way, it wants to go. We can go from politics to Sega to.
Well, I think it's the football's just in the background, effectively.
Yeah,
and
it's one of these shows where you just sit back, kick off your shoes, make yourself a nice hot cup of tea, and you just chill out.
And it works better when Tottenham aren't playing as well.
It does. But don't worry, we are on Friday. Brad, you going to the game Friday?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I've got Friday off, so I can get there nice and early and get a few beers in. Yes, it's my Friday. That's my Friday night, effectively. So,
well, I will be doing the watch along. So, send us an odd message when you're there, Brad, and we'll see can we get you to come on at halftime or full time, and just give us your halftime talks.
Well, half time it might be live from the bloody toilets, because that's what my normal half time is. Queuing up to go to the bloody toilets.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's fair enough.
Modern stadiums, but some things never change.
No. Well, anyway, we're all going to let you go and get ready for the Brentford Forest game. But listen, thank you all for watching. It's been absolutely
cheers, everyone. Have a great weekend, everyone, as well. And
thank you. Me and Philip couldn't do this without you guys. So thank you all. It's all very just thank you. That's all I'm going to say is, and Brad, thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime.
Hopefully you'll be with us next Saturday. for the round the grounds for FA Cup Saturday?
Yeah. I should be. As I say, I should be. Yeah.
4th round day. Well, we will talk exclusively about the FA Cup. There won't be a politics.
Who are we going to get in the 5th round?
And who we're going to get in the 5th round. So, yeah.
Hopefully.
We are. Whatever you're doing, thank you all for watching. God bless you all. We might be back tomorrow. We're definitely back Monday at 4 with Newsbeat and the Transfer Update Show. Thank you all so much. Come on, you Spurs.
Cheers, guys.
In Brad, we trust.